All right, welcome once again, shifters from across the globe. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Brendon, aka Wolf, aka Skull Babylon, welcoming you to another exciting, educational, and inspirational live broadcast of Paradigm Shift Central team building circle here on behalf of ParadigmShiftCentral.com, a real world interactive game to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. And tonight I am very excited to be able to share with you the fact that we have a very jam-packed, very full team roundtable tonight, as in the fact that we have multiple people. Geez, I haven't even counted how many people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including myself. That's a beautiful number that we got, and it looks like things are running smoothly. We got confirmation that the broadcast is taking place on YouTube, and of course, if people are tuned in on Facebook, reminder right off the bat to be able to join us on YouTube. The links are posted in the top of the video. You can join us at live.paradigmshiftcentral.com. That's where you're going to want to tune in for any of our future broadcasts, which are our team roundtables weekly on Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and of course our global meditations, which are Sundays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, live.paradigmshiftcentral.com. So to start things off, I'm just going to pull up some microphones here and allow some of the people here to make some noise, send some good vibes, and welcome all of you tuned in. For the viewers, you are a part of this circle as well, so shifters from across the globe, please join me in making some noise. Not too much, don't blow out any eardrums. Make some noise, boys and girls. Send some love to all the shifters out there. Got some babies going on there and everything, man. Got some baby shamans with us. Keeping it shifty. You guys know how it is. So awesome. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. What we're going to be doing here tonight, going over some basics in terms of what the Paradigm Shift Central project is as we continue to move forward with collective momentum of the team, introducing some basic concepts for those of you who may be new. The fact is, you know, we're always reaching new people through the project every single week. We got some awesome algorithms working in our favor through Instagram. If people are watching this live on Facebook, the feed is going to stay up, hopefully for as long as possible. So please feel free to share it and use that as an opportunity to be able to invite more people to tune into the project. And again, for those of you on YouTube, please feel free to share it as well. We got the live chat bumping, and shout out to everyone in there. So as we get into this, I'll just give you a bit of an overview. I'm just going to go over some of the overall objectives of what Paradigm Shift Central is about, the intention for this broadcast, really focusing on providing you guys with that inspirational medicine that you're going to get out of listening to this, so that by the time you're done listening to this broadcast, you're like bringing in with you that energy of the fact that you are not alone, of the fact that there are a global team of us actively helping work towards assisting with the shift in consciousness. And from there, we're going to introduce some people within the roundtable, get them to be able to share a little bit about how they are helping assist with the shift in consciousness. And then beyond that, it's really just going to kind of open up into free flow discussion, with the intention really being focusing on wisdom sharing. That's one thing that this roundtable really holds its value in, is the opportunity for us to be able to practice sharing our lessons, our experiences, our knowledge, things that we've come across, things that can be of value for the rest of us on the team. So there's a lot going on in this project. I'll share with you guys some individual updates in terms of also local paradigm shift community stuff, and anybody else here in the circle is also going to get the opportunity to be able to share anything that they're working on in terms of creating physical paradigm shift communities where they are, which of course is something that we encourage all of you, any of you, to be able to do as well. So getting right into this, basics things off the start. For those of you who may be entirely new to this, Paradigm Shift Central is a real-world interactive game to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. And the idea of referring to it as a game, the element behind that is to be able to bring in, you know, what is a game? What is a game? A game is something you play. And so when we bring in that element of play, it kind of like brings in that degree of excitement. And that's really important for what it is that we're doing. So within this day and age, a lot of people are familiar with playing video games and fantasy role playing and things like that. So when we kind of draw the parallels between the fact that video games and real life share all these like commonalities, and the fact that, you know, as spirit, as soul, we are leveling up, we are learning, we are unlocking new abilities, we're becoming more of who we are, we are activating our avatars in that sense. And so the game that we are playing is to be able to level ourselves up, is to be able to create art, is to be able to create physical engagement in our communities, to be able to do things. And this is what we talk about. And again, for those of you who are new, this is what we go over: hacking the matrix with love. And this is where we talk about being able to do things like free hugs combined with shift buttons, which you can see I got the Triforce one that I'm rocking right now. And again, the shift buttons, those got the link for the Paradigm Shift Central website on the side. And the shift buttons become more powerful as the project continues to evolve, and that links people back into the website. I was doing some free hugs downtown on Friday. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that later. It was awesome, crazy synchronicities as well. And so again, you know, the gamification aspect of it is about being able to invite people into something that doesn't have to feel like work, yet at the same time is an opportunity for us to be able to step into our natural calling, our duty in that sense. So within the overall project, part of how we play the game is by interacting, is by tuning into these regular broadcasts, is by listening to them, by taking inspiration from them, and by rippling that out further into the world. And so that is kind of the idea, is that you carry the shift with you. That's a very, very powerful thing. You know, the broadcast may end, but the vibration continues with you. And what is that vibration? The vibration that we put out is the one of the archetype of the light guardian, of the shifter. It is about being able to have the courage of compassion. So being able to, you know, like talk to strangers, plant conscious seeds, connect with community, create portals, knowing that your actions can make a difference, knowing that your actions can help build community and change lives. So, you know, when it comes to changing the world, a lot of people, you know, and like there's so many different ways in which we can change the world. You know, like we can approach different ecological disasters that need fixing. We can approach poverty. We can approach, you know, affordable housing, food, energy, you know, new forms of energy, art, all of these things. And so that's all awesome. And we want you to be able to find what are the things that you stand for, you know, like as a guardian, what do you stand on guard for in terms of being able to help create for the future? So we are creating patterns now that will ripple out into the future. We are creating community now that will play an element and a role within the future. So again, you know, how you play this game is by tuning into these broadcasts, interacting, commenting, engaging, listening. The next thing beyond that is tuning into the team Discord chat. For those of you who haven't checked that out yet, you can scroll down. It's in the YouTube info and go to tinyurl.com/paradigm shift chat. And that will link you to the Discord. The Discord's starting to get more active, and I'm really happy to be able to see that, because that's where like a lot of the additional engagement is going to be happening. And there's more stuff happening in the Discord. I don't want to throw it all at you at once, but feel free to check that out when you get a chance. And that's where we talk between broadcasts. And so again, tuning in for the broadcast, all that stuff, creating art, creating conscious media, creating quest journals is a big part of what we do through the project. So it's in this sense, you can think of Paradigm Shift Central as a broadcast media network. And so moving into the future, you're going to be seeing more featured quest journals from people. That hasn't been a focus as much lately. We've been recalibrating some other things, focusing on other stuff, getting these broadcasts up and running in some very exciting ways. And so just like reminding you that that is like something that we want to be able to invite people to do as well, is to be able to share their stories, to be able to share the stories of their synchronicities, their dream logs, their intentions, their poetry, the lessons that they're learning. And so in the future, I'm going to be looking for specific shifters to join me in a small group to be able to focus on creating quest journals as well as conscious articles. And conscious articles are a branch of that where it's a little bit more specific, less personal. That can be something where it's like, you know, top 5 reasons why you should drink more water, you know, like top 10 reasons as to why meditation can help you every day. It doesn't always have to be a list, obviously. You know, I know we got one coming out. Our friend Sean, he started a new Instagram channel, Awakening Frequency Music, and he's going to be making I'm going to be working with him on this, on a new article for like a list of conscious musicians, something that provides value for people to tune in. So again, creating media is how you play this game. So, and what's the, are there any, yeah, and so the last part I'll just mention here, and from there we're going to start passing the talking circle around. And again, thank you for everybody who may be tuned into this, who may be brand new. You know, the other parts of this are also to be able to encourage you to create the physical paradigm shift communities where you are. That is incredibly powerful. And again, the basic concept behind that is being able to have regular open-minded discussion and meditation circles. And that's how this project began. It began as a single paradigm shift community back in my college, like 10 years ago at this point. And then from there, we started putting out the message, broadcasting it, telling people like, hey, you know, this pattern works. You can do this where you are too. And that's what's been happening. And so that's where we invite people to be able to know that they can do this where they are too. And you don't have to have a lot. All you have to do is have like the vision and the intention to be able to hear that calling, because all it takes is finding a location, organizing a meetup, posting about it online, promoting it, and then getting out there, evoking synchronicity, inviting people back to these meetups, hosting them, facilitating them, leveling yourselves up. And the meetups are just like free flow discussion, a chance and an opportunity for consciousness to be able to express itself. Very simple, yet very potent. That's a big theme within what paradigm shift is. Simple, yet effective tactics applied effectively. And that's where we're talking about, you know, going out and doing free hugs and things like that. And of course, sharing your stories of how you're doing free hugs is another opportunity for something that you can share about within the Quest journals as well. And so other ways that you can help support the project, I'll just mention this now. A huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. This project is made possible by the community support, in the sense that yes, this is something that I work on as my full-time devotion, as my full-time job. And so the Patreon supporters contribute a few dollars a month, and that is something that is helping continue with this ongoing work. So if you want to check that out, check it out at patreon.com/Brendon Culleton. If you find value in what this project is, in the vision of it, if you're just like, hey, I want to help support, I'm not always able to tune into the broadcast, but this is how I contribute by, you know, like the cost of a coffee a month, right? And then that goes a long way. So we have 105 active Patreon donators right now. We're working towards our next milestone of 125. So you can help us reach that goal. And again, thank you to everyone who's supporting. Last thing I'll mention right now, because a lot of you may not already know this, you can support also through the Quest Item Shop, which is at questitemshop.com. And that's where you can purchase your individual shifter booster kits, as well as clothing, as well as the Light Guardian crystals, which I'll show up right here. I'm sure some other people might already have their Light Guardian crystals with them during the broadcast. I know Turner does, probably. So, but yeah, again, the Light Guardian crystals are available for the Team Patreon supporters. That's an exclusive item as well. And the other thing that I just want to mention, there's a new option within a way to be able to support, and that's a monthly shifter booster kit subscription. So this is separate from the Patreon, but if you're signed up for the Patreon, this will actually like be boosted. You'll get a bonus percentage, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You pay a minimum of $25 a month, and that gets you a new shifter booster kit each month, which contains the shift buttons. Each button has consciousness evoking symbolism, and also the laminated free hug signs as well. And so if you're like in a situation where you have that kind of funding, where you're able to be like, yeah, you know, I can support like this, and plus I want to be able to get those shift buttons every month, because each one of those shift buttons is a new synchronicity, is a new opportunity, is something that you share to be able to create a connection, to find new friends, to build community. Super powerful if you're creating a paradigm shift community where you are. And again, you can check that out at questitemshop.com, and you can get like a bigger shifter booster kit depending on how much you pay for a month. We're working on getting 10 of those signed up. And so if you're looking to be able to get that, then please feel free to check it out and message me if you have any questions. And you can message me at facebook.com/SkullBabylon, or easily through the Discord chat as well. So that's all the introduction stuff for those of you who tuned in. Thank you so much. And if you haven't already yet, explore more videos on my YouTube channel at SkullBabylon as well. And also subscribe on Paradigm Shift Radio on iTunes. And again, at live.paradigmshiftcentral.com, you can find all the MP3 recordings as well. We keep it super easy for you guys. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Sending good vibes your way. This broadcast is created to be able to help us focus our intention towards being able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. And what does that mean, right? There's degrees of awakening. And I feel, you know, as we kind of go through this journey in life, a lot of us already tuned into this broadcast, a lot of us who are already in this roundtable have already gone through that initial stage of awakening where we come into that remembrance of like, oh my God, like, I am more than my physical body. This reality is not as cut and dry as it appears to be. My mind is incredibly powerful. I create this dream as we continue to awaken within it. That is what a big part of the shifting consciousness is about. It is about being able to understand our potential as co-creators within this dream, as well as being able to step into our own empowerment, to step into our own bliss, to be able to step into our own joy, into our own grace. And then from there, we don't just sit there and do nothing. We ask ourselves the question of what can we do next? And so this is answering the question of what can we do next? You know, it is taking our own awareness, knowing that we are constantly growing, we are constantly leveling up, and figuring out ways of how we can reach others, how we can assist. And so again, the building of the communities, the creating art, the sharing of your story, all of those things matter, and that is why these broadcasts matter, because we allow ourselves to be able to grow as a team, we allow ourselves to be able to focus our intentions, and so much more. So this is a game that we are playing, building ourselves as a team, strengthening our network, the neurons that fire together, wire together. That is essentially what we are doing. So I am grateful to be able to have the other shifters here, to be able to get to know more of you guys on a one-to-one level, to just be able to express gratitude back and forth, to be able to share wisdom, learn a little bit more about what each of us is into, what each keys we are holding. And that's kind of the valuable thing, is that within the team, all of us have different keys that we can show up with. And there's a big part of this project that doesn't happen online, you know, and that's kind of the idea, is that this is like, a lot of it is offline. A lot of it is like how you carry yourself on a day-to-day basis, the synchronicities that happen to you out and about in your community, helping people on the streets, things like that, leading by example. That's a big part of the game as well. So within this broadcast, we're keeping the intention of having it within 2 hours. If it goes a little bit more than that, that's totally cool. Gonna start passing the talking stick around. As it goes around, I'll share with you guys a little bit of updates a little bit later on about my free hugs adventures that I did on Friday, and that was super exciting because like the students are back in town, so it was really cool. And from there, we'll just allow people to be able to introduce themselves, share a little bit about how they're helping assist with the shift in consciousness, where they are, and then from there we'll get into a little bit more wisdom sharing within this broadcast, and we'll let the conversation go where it needs to, and then we'll end the broadcast with closing intentions and gratitude, and then that'll be it. And so again, in terms of like, even as we move into this, I'll take a moment here to just kind of like allow us to do a simple breath before we start passing the talking stick around. And then again, if you're looking for more meditations, tune in for our Sunday meditations as well. And thank you again to those of you who've been tuning into those. Again, each time we do this broadcast, we're building momentum. More people are starting to tune in. What we got here is something really, really awesome. And so we right now, even on YouTube, we have 11 people tuned in. That's great. That's more than we had last week. And I know more people are tuning in after the broadcast as well. So for the people listening to this in the future, you are a part of this circle. For the people listening to this right now, you are a part of that circle. So before we pass the talking stick around, I just invite you to join me in a very brief like moment of oneness meditation. So for everybody here, if you got your light guardian crystals, feel free to grab them. And we'll just move into a very brief meditation as we just kind of like anchor into our intentions. Okay. So just closing our eyes. I'm just inviting you to be able to connect with your breath in this moment. Together, let's breathe as a team, literally focusing on synchronized breath. So as you listen to my voice, let us synchronize our breath together. So together, gentle inhale through the nose. Gentle exhale through the nose or the mouth. We'll do that a few more times together. Gentle inhale through the nose. Gentle exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. Continue to find this rhythm as I just talk for the next little bit. As we allow ourselves to synchronize our breath, we synchronize our heartbeats, we synchronize our intentions, we synchronize our visions. Reminding ourselves that who we are is a story that began long ago. the story of the Light Guardians, the story of the shifters. And believe this if you want. This is just an idea, but some may say that the energy we carry is a continuation, is an echo of a primordial energy that has existed literally since the beginning of time. Since the universe existed, since the universe was birthed out of the dream itself, Light Guardians and shifters have always existed. Call them Jedi if you wish. Those of us who intentionally devote ourselves to helping maintain and create balance, to be able to help bring about the awakening, to be able to help be of service to others, to be a carrier for that vibration of love and compassion and deeper wisdom. And so just sit with that idea for a second, that what we are doing here is not new, but in fact infinitely old. You may be X number of years in this human form, but there is a part of you carrying this vibration that is older than you can even imagine. And with that, there is a duty. And with that, there is a purpose. And with that, there is a power. And so we carry that power wisely. We carry that power with gentleness and with intention to be able to collectively direct it towards being able to help others, towards being able to help align with new realities, to be able to help collectively learn and experience what it's like to co-create this dream. So take a couple more breaths here as we begin to conclude this meditation, anchoring into this space. Gentle inhales, gentle exhales. Inhale again. Exhale. And slowly, at your own pace, feeling this connection between yourself and all of the shifters tuned in right now, as one heartbeat, as one tribe, as one family of many families. Expressing gratitude for all the other shifters in this moment. Just do that. Just send out gratitude to everyone and receive it in this moment, knowing that you are appreciated, knowing that you are loved, knowing that your story is important, knowing that you are connected to the people who you have yet to meet, and they are grateful for you too. Your story is before you, and it is unfolding as we speak. So slowly, at your own pace, gently, when you're ready, you can open your eyes, return your awareness to the space around you. Aho. Shifters unites. Awesome. Sweet. Well, again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I know that's like I say that how many times a broadcast? I'm just like, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for being here, guys. Like, anyways, let's get into passing the talking stick around. And again, as we do this, just reminding each one of us in the circle, we're going to keep it concise. And, within that, introducing yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you're doing to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. Maybe a couple things that you're interested in. What are some of the keys that you're carrying? What are some of the passions that you hold? And then knowing that later on in the broadcast, we'll get focused a little bit more on the wisdom sharing of things as well. So let's kind of use this, since we do have enough people, to be able to jump around as fast as we can. And then we'll get into the wisdom sharing, and then that will kind of be a free flow discussion. This is all just practice. And so at this point, I'll do my introduction stuff a little bit later to, like I said, share you guys about my journey doing free hugs on Friday. At this moment, I would just invite whoever wants to be able to share first to be able to literally raise their hand on camera, and I'll be able to take note of that and be able to pick someone out of the circle at that point. If not, I will totally volunteer someone. So if no one's going to volunteer right away, then Turner, thank you. I was literally about to pick you anyways. So cool. All right, Turner, I'm going to pull up your microphone here. So just give me a quick test. Make sure we can hear you okay. You got yourself muted right now, Turner, so I'm just going to make sure that's unmuted. We're good now.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Sweet. All right.
Mic check, mic check.
We are good. Awesome. Turner, thank you so much for being here again, 2 weeks in a row. Bonus points for you, brother. And oh yeah, so you got your shift button on, so cool. Cool, man. All right, Turner, passing the talking stick over to you. Go ahead, you can introduce yourself to the circle. So thanks again for being here, dude.
Hello, everyone. Namaste. My name is Turner. I live here in Minnesota, though not for much longer. I am about to move to Wisconsin. I'm very excited. And I am promoting a shift in consciousness by cleaning up trash both within myself and in my community. I spend a lot of time cleaning up areas that I visit very often to embody the idea of the macrocosm and the microcosm. I am the cell of this earth. And by cleaning the areas that I populate, not only am I helping to cleanse this earth, I'm showing my body and my own cells how to in turn cleanse itself. So I promote health. And I think the healthier we are and the greater we truly understand what it means to be healthy, then the clearer our minds can be to create a manifestation around us and help sync up to others so we can co-create something beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you, Turner, so much. That's a beautiful introduction. So we will use that momentum and keep things moving along and look forward to hearing more from you in a bit. So thank you, Turner.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. And reminder, make sure for everyone in this broadcast, make sure that you guys post your information so that I have your links to your bios within the chat within the Google Hangout. And so anybody tuned into this, if you're here someone, you're like, hey, I want to connect with that person further, check afterwards on YouTube and we'll have these show notes, which will link people to who were in this broadcast, to their social media stuff, because there's a lot of people who are doing awesome stuff. So again, just one thing I just want to communicate as we do this, what is part of the purpose, just reminding us that like by sharing our stories, we inspire each other, we start getting ideas, things start clicking, and we're just like, wow, that person's doing something awesome, maybe I can do something similar. And just kind of like being inspired by the fact that all of us are doing these things simultaneously and sometimes separately, yet also collectively in that sense. So we're gonna pass the talking stick around in a second, and asking the next person to be able to hold their hand up for who wants to volunteer to go next, and we will pass the talking stick over to you. And apologies if there's any like lag on the YouTube video. I know that sometimes that happens. So who would like to go next? If maybe does Amanda want to go next? Amanda, do you want to volunteer to go next? Maybe. Whoever would like to hold the talking stick, or who's. Sorry, was that? Did Zoe have her hand up? Okay, cool. Zoe, we'll pass it. We'll pass it to you, Zoe. Cool. That's awesome. I'm super excited to be able to have Zoe here too. So, cool. All right, Zoe, I'm gonna pull up your microphone. Just make sure that you're unmuted. Sorry, Zoe, can you make sure that you're unmuted on your end? I just have to like adjust my screen so that I can see.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, perfect. That's good. Okay. Zoe, thank you so much for being here. Quick question, what continent are you on right now?
I'm currently in just outside of San Diego in Encinitas.
Oh, okay, cool. So we're on the same continent then. So
Yeah,
awesome, awesome, sweet. Cool. Well, Zoe, this is a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. You've been supporting the shift and doing a lot of amazing things on your end as well. So please introduce yourself to the team, to the people listening to this, and tell them a little bit more about you and what you do to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. So, Zoe, go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And it's great to see everyone. And as I said earlier, like I can try and hop on for a little bit until I need to go, but I wanted to at least try and like participate. So it's really nice for the invitation. So it's really nice to see all of you beautiful people, and I can just feel so much energy and authenticity from you all with everything that you're doing. And I wanted to bring a message through from spirit. It's like never feel alone with what you're doing and what you're creating. Like even though we can like do these things out into the world and we feel like it's like a never ending battle and we're still trudging forwards, but there is so much that's shifting with all of the little things that you're doing and the amazing platform that Brendon has helped to create unity, and it just like, it warms my heart anyway. So I wanted to share the energy that I was feeling. And in terms of what I've been doing is I share a lot about the synchronicity of self-love and spirituality. So I share a lot of free content online. I create a lot of videos and spend a lot of time with people in the online world through Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, to help be that person that has the message that you need to hear at that exact moment. And that's what warms my heart, is I get so many messages from people saying, you have no idea how I needed to hear that today. How did you know? And I'm like, well, I don't know, but I'm just in alignment with the flow of what I need to share. And then out in the everyday normal world, one thing that is really important to me is, how can I make someone's day extraordinary? How can I make someone's day, and how can I have their energy lift up? So even if it's going into a gas station, it's making the norm extra amazing. So like really taking the time to chat to the cash attendant, like really getting to know them, asking their name and what are their interests, what are their likes. Because the more that we are sharing our light in conscious conversation with everyone around us, the more it's reminding them that they are part of that connection too. They are part of that potential. And we had a beautiful experience the other day in the health food store. Me and my friend Frank, when we get together, we're very comical in our creation. And we were chatting to this guy behind the cash register, and he was very solemn and kind of like ding, you know, listening to the beep. And we started to talk to him, and turns out he is involved in this whole fantasy world where they have these big events and conferences each year where they dress up as like a real life animal, and he has these like mad costumes. And he's like, my boss isn't around, I could show you the photos if you want. We were like, absolutely. And so we took this ordinary situation into something that was really, and that is, to me, is worth $1,000, you know, of any time that we can share ourselves authentically and lift up the spirits of somebody else around us, then it's reminding them of that potential. And it's planting the seeds in their mind of like, oh, I met that girl that time and she had this conversation with me, and now these synchronistic events are starting to come into my reality. And that's how we wake each other up. Because it's one thing to club together in this like ascension group, and that's what happens in spirituality and new age communities. We all end up clubbing together, and then we go out into the world, and quite often there can be judgment there, you know. And so we have to be that light continuously, 24/7, all the time, in all of our situations. And so that's just what I was coming through that I wanted to share, is how can we be more light for those that need that light, you know, and just really taking the time with each other. And that's what we're all doing. All these little things start to create those massive ripple effects throughout reality. Like I had a lady today book in for a consult with me. She's not my ideal client, but I spent an hour and a half with her, and I gifted her so much value, because I remember where I was, where she is now. And then I gifted her a bunch of free content and lots of things that I could help her. And she was just blown away. She's like, I want to give you something. I was like, no, that's not the point, because you're going to pay it forward. You know, you're going to take that information and now create this business that you want to, and you're ready, and move that into your reality. So it's just beautiful. Anyway, we just need to keep sharing love. So it's great to be here. Mwah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zoe. And honestly, like, feel free to plug your stuff as much as you want, because I fully support what you do. And you know, like, Zoe's been an inspiration for me as well, because some of you know, like, I've been kind of like getting into more of like the one-on-one sessions, helping provide my service and my time for people in the community like that. And Zoe also offers that as well. So Zoe, if people, because I know you won't be able to stick around for the entire time, if people are looking to get in touch with you, just tell them a little bit about what you offer and how to contact you.
Yeah, I mean, so right now, my work is shifted with how I work with people in terms of like an energetic exchange, but I have so much free content that would support anyone on their path. And if you go to my website, you can actually download my entire book for free, called Love is the Answer. And that's my kind of way of trying to gift that out to humanity as well. So that might be of interest to you. And feel free to add me on Facebook as well. I'm always like uploading things and giving things away and trying to support. So yeah.
And real quick, what's the website? zoedavenport.co. I know you got a call coming in.
I'm sorry, yeah. It's my dinner date. I haven't seen her for 3 years and I have to pick her up. But I really wanted to just come and hi to everyone, and I hope to make more of these like in the future.
No, well, I appreciate you swinging by. And again, just to confirm, Zoe's website is zoedavenport.co.uk. So for those of you who are looking to check that out, and again, we'll put it in the show notes as well. So Zoe, if you're having to get up and go, thank you so much and much love, and I look forward to talking to you in the future. So.
Yeah, and thank you so much, everyone, and so much love to you. And I'm sorry just to hop in and hop out again, but it was like I'd rather come in for a little bit and say hi than not at all. So yeah, blessings.
The message was heard. So all right, we'll see you in the future. Take care, Zoe.
Bye.
Awesome. Sweet. Okay, so again, shout out to Zoe. You know, so that's like, again, part of the thing that's really cool about this project is that we do get a lot of people doing a variety of things, and obviously a lot of people right now are kind of getting into that like entrepreneurial mindset and looking to be able to provide their services for other people in the community. And so Zoe's a person who's been doing that. So huge shout out to Zoe, and absolutely feel free to check her stuff out as well. So zoedavenport.co.uk. Cool, guys. All right, let's keep moving around, and we'll invite the next person to be able to introduce themselves within the talking circle, within the round table, and we'll pass it over to Yuuga, aka Voice of the Dragon, and they will be able to introduce themselves and a little bit about what they do to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. So Yuuga, passing the talking stick over to you, and let me just pull up your microphone, make sure that we can hear you okay.
Check. Can you hear?
Yeah, it sounds okay, just as long as you're not like moving the mic, because otherwise it's gonna like rustle on your shirt. So even if you're just holding it, that'll probably be better. So cool. But yeah, we can hear you, dude. So that's good. Hold on, actually I think we might have just, I don't know if we just like lost you for a second. What did we? Bear with us, folks, as we just make sure that things are working good, because we heard you a second ago. And I think go ahead, just try talking.
Alright, I'm talking.
Yeah, okay.
Showing on my end.
Yep, that's okay. Okay, so what you got right now, hold that, and go ahead and we'll pass the talking stick over to you. And welcome, dude. Good to see you here. So when you're ready, go right ahead.
I am Dragon Shaman, voice of the dragon.
Ooh, hold on, guy. Hold on, man. We're yeah, does somebody else have their mic active? Sorry, right now I just gotta mute that. That's why. That is DJ who's got their mic active. So 1 second. Just reminding you guys to make sure that you got your mics active, because I can't always keep an eye on them every second. And that's all right though, no problem. And make sure that things are going good.
Is my feed coming through yours? Or is your feed coming through my end?
Okay, Yuuga, go ahead. Try again.
Can you hear me? Because I unplugged my headphone.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's actually perfect, dude. That's good. So we'll just go with that, and I'm just gotta adjust the screen here real quick.
Here comes the charm.
Yeah.
Lucky 3.
Cool. Okay, Yuuga, go right ahead, dude. The talking stick is in your hands. Welcome.
All right, I am Yuuga. I am the voice of the dragons. I am a dragon priest, and I am a dragon shaman. I believe in practical magic. I started off with crystal therapy. I've been doing extensive research the last 5 years, almost to the day, in fact. Very recently, I had a lot of soul regression, and finally, it's come to light my last life, which was a dragon. Very recently, I was initiated into the radionic field, a very advanced form of crystal therapy, and I feel like it will change the world. I've done some incredible stuff with the very limited amount of resources and knowledge that I have so far. I'm much a Renaissance man. I write a lot of philosophical poetry. I create jewelry, custom jewelry, and I also do a lot of light working, and I'm starting to really get into the tarot. Been working with it for a while, but I really feel a strong call to really understand what's going on with the tarot and how I can implement it and use it, not just to expand myself, but I've been doing readings for people online for free, just whenever I have the opportunity, and a lot of people are very thankful at the end and have been very appreciative and said I've given a lot of foresight, and I just feel like I need to do a little bit more. So I finally been able to get back into the paradigm shift community. I had to really take a step back from social media, and I feel confident enough to bring out what has been hidden from myself. System I am of Mayan and Aztec descent, and I also do have doing a lot of traveling recently, about over 2,000 miles this last week and a half. But I'm finally parked up, not fully home with my family, so I will have to go in a bit. I will return when I can. So I wanted to share what I needed to share. And I'm really glad I was able to join this tonight. Been really meaning to join, but of course, spirit guides as it needs to. Brendon's been a very, very good friend, very good brother, and someone I profoundly looked up to, and I'm very proud to be a part of this movement. Off of Paradigm Shift Central, I finally feel ready to start my own little community, and it's called Hytherian. I won't get into the details of that. I know why. Very respectfully, I know why. I should just leave it at that. So another thing is I also write music, so hopefully I'll be able to post some links to some of my music. It's very, very consciously written. I use my own tunings. I use acoustic guitar, and right now I'm just a solo artist. Probably will stay that way. Definitely looking forward to working with other people if they can fit the groove. Another thing is I really study. I really, really want to know what there is thoroughly and consistently. And another thing I really felt called to share really quickly is I'm about to have my twin flame reunion, and so that's another reason why I want to be a part of this. And I'm really excited for things to come to the full circle. Mayan calendar just recently reset. I don't know if people have validated that or understood, but something personal that I feel called to share is that I have seen a real flying dragon. That is why I have chosen the path of the dragon, and it's not any occultist form. It's just going back to my ancestry, because I am of the blood of Quetzalcoatl, partially connected to the Mayan calendar. And I feel like that's a good place to cut it off. I could definitely add more. Anyone tuning in, this is a great community. I've looked for a lot of communities to be a part in, and a lot of people just tend to be very, very dogmatic and very anti-religious. And what I love about this community, even though it's a very heavily quote unquote new age based community, it's more spiritual than what I've ever come across. And that's why I've always admired Brendon, because he's always undogmatic. And I've seen so much dogma across so many different forms of belief. And that's why I've been wanting to be a Patreon supporter, been taking a little financial hit, so I haven't been able to do the micro donations. But anyone that can, it's definitely worth it. You're gonna get so much out of it. I had the buttons. It was kind of a problem not to have the buttons, but as soon as I can, I'll definitely be making that donation again. And I'm just excited to see this new relationship. A lot of old has come out, and I'm ready for the new. I was just at the Game of Thrones orchestra, and it was just by chance too. And being around something so well known and so obviously connected with dragons, it really brought something out, and I feel so alive. So yes, it's time. I'll tune in for a little bit, but I'll just go ahead and pass the talking stick from there. But if you see me pop out, I'll definitely be popping in as soon as I can.
Awesome. Sweet, man. Well, again, dude, thank you so much for being synced up. Again, like, I know you know, you've been involved with the project for quite a while now, you know, like more than
About a year now.
but I was gonna say more than a year at least. And you know, I really appreciate your presence, and I just kind of want to, you know, like, I think what's interesting with this project, and maybe this is, you know, like what makes it different from other projects that people see across the internet, is that, you know, like, as like as a team, as a talking circle, like, this reality is pretty weird, and everyone kind of like holds their own perception to it and everything like that. And so, you know, even just kind of like picking note of what the audience would have been listening to there, where they were just like hearing Yuuga talk, and Yuuga was like quite adamantly saying, you know, like, oh, well, you know, like in a past life I was a dragon and stuff like that. And I think like in some cases some people might hear that and just be like, like, sure you were, buddy, you know, type thing. And so I think like what's interesting is that like if we observe that kind of reaction within us, I encourage us to kind of like figure out like where that's coming from. Again, kind of open up to the idea that this reality is like way weirder than we even know. So like what is possible, still find balance through discernment as a priority, but at the same time be able to like have the discussion to be like, I'm interested in hearing more. Why do you think you had a past life as a dragon? Or like, where does that come from? Tell me more, and things like that. So, I mean, like, I think through this, like, we have like more of that opportunity to grow. And I think there is kind of like this like fine balance between, you know, when people kind of get into spirituality, I think it's a natural thing to kind of be like searching for our story, but at the same time, like allowing that story to not distract us from who we are, but to help create us into who we are. And again, it's just like, it's a weird thing, man. And I'm not going to try and like referee people to tell them like what is or isn't the reality. At the same time, like I think it's like important to be able to, again, discernment and balance is an important thing. But you know, like in the infinite spectrum of what's possible, like, dude, like come on, man, like we are clearly all souls from like spans of the galaxy and like lifetimes, and like, man, it's weird, man. So I mean, at this point it's just kind of like exploring the mystery together through that, while also still like holding each other accountable to balance, because I think there is kind of like there is the possibility of kind of like spirituality kind of leading some people towards what can kind of almost be like unhealthy narratives within themselves. So I think it's like understanding how to carry that narrative in a way that's healthy while still being focused like on this point now. And so Yuuga, I appreciate you sharing your story and like introducing yourselves to us, man. Dude, totally. Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
About seeing the dragon and the fact that everything is almost 5 years to the day. Within my first 3 months, a physical dragon had manifested itself for me. And at the time, I could only think, why so soon? Why was I chosen to see this thing up to me? I was in the middle of Phoenix, of all places, heavily populated. And I really had to learn why. On my own, it spoke to me, but I had to really understand how to communicate with it. And had I not seen it, I really would have lost a lot of track of my own thought and form and emotions. But just going back to that 15 seconds, if it was even that, knowing that there was something I'd always wanted to believe in, seeing a real dragon and knowing that they're real, knowing that I was and I could be, even if it was just a dream. Keep the dream alive, keep that vision alive, because you're gonna see your dreams come to life. I've seen my dream 4 years ago manifest to the T. Yes, everything exists. I've checked, and by a dragon's mouth, anything and everything can and will be possible. And by Brendon Culleton's holy name, as I love to say, let the light guardians unite.
Word, man, word.
And
Word, man. Yeah, like it's dragons are a hot topic, something that I'm personally very interested in. So so hold on, make sure we still got distracted from my phone there for a second. But yeah, no, definitely, man, like the concept of dragons is definitely something. Oh, sorry, dude, we lost your mic there. I don't know if you turn off your mic, but you're showing us the dragon emblem and stuff like that. But again, yeah, like,
yeah, I turned my mic off. It just got a little loud,
okay,
but
okay, no problem.
here is my dragon necklace I made myself. I didn't make this, got it from some lady in Russia, handmade.
Cool,
but pretty much the exact thing I saw.
Yeah. We've definitely talked about dragons and stuff before. So well, let's get, you know, we can get a little bit more into that later. So I think that's good for an introduction for now, and we can definitely branch off to stuff as we keep going. So unless is there anything else, or is that good for now, dude?
Oh, that's good for now. I'll go ahead and help my mom with what she needs help with, and then I'll tune in when I can. But
okay, sounds good.
A little bit.
All right, look forward to hearing more, man. Okay, sounds good, man. All right. Sweet. All right, awesome. So we'll keep bouncing around and pass the talking stick. So shout out to Yuuga. Thank you so much for joining. And again, thank you guys for holding space, you know, and like, just kind of reiterating the idea, like, wait, like, you know, again, it's just like, wait, are dragons real? You know, like, is that what this is about? Are we talking about dragons and stuff like now? It's just like, well, you know, like, maybe there's something there, you know, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's like the symbolism of the dragon that is worth our attention. Maybe there's some like hidden wisdom within that concept. Why do dragons appear throughout reality? And if souls incarnate as different beings, if people are like, well, in my past life I was a dog or something like that, could someone been a past life in a dragon? I don't know. Who knows? All I know is that this reality is incredibly trippy and nothing is off the table. UFOs are real, aliens are real, dreams are real, psychedelic experiences are real, life beyond death is real. What else is real? You know? So again, we're exploring the mystery here, and through that, we're kind of like expanding ourselves to what is possible, and while also shifting the relationship that we have with this reality. So, but again, discernment and balance are also things that we are carrying with us as we move through this. So let's keep passing the talk and stick around. And we got a few other people in the chat with us still who we have yet to hear from. So we have Bhagavan, who is with us, and Byron, and Ron, and Jared, and Jesse, and Turner, who is still with us. I just want to give a quick shout out to Amanda. It was her birthday last week, and she recently signed up for the Team Patreon. So thank you to Amanda for adding your support. And I think she had to step away. She had to take care of a young one, but I know she's working on creating a paradigm shift community where she is. So I'm super excited to be able to hear more about that, either next broadcast or maybe if she joins a little bit later. But again, just reminding you guys that you can create a paradigm shift community where you are. So, oh, and if you are creating a paradigm shift community where you are, let me know. And any shift buttons that you're getting, I'll put in bonus shift buttons for you guys. So that's an old perk that's still active. Okay, let's pass the talk and stick around. So put your hand up if you would like to introduce yourself next, and we will pass the talking stick over to you. And for anybody who doesn't have a picture, you guys can unmute yourself. I think Byron had his hand up. Byron, are you okay if Ron goes next? Is that okay? Or do you want... Yeah, okay. All right, Ron, we'll pass over to you. I know you unmuted yourself. I saw that. So... Ron, we're gonna pass it over to you, and welcome back, man. Good to have you here once again from one team building circle to the next. So, Ron, go ahead. You know the routine, you know the vibes, and thank you for helping hold the space. And when you're ready, passing the talking stick over to you. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're doing to help assist with the shift in consciousness, and anything else you would like to be able to bring to the round table at this moment.
For sure. Wow, I'm fired up.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yuuga got me fired up. Talk about the dragons.
Yeah, man.
I remember I had an experience during ceremony, and I was really just sitting with Mother Earth and just feeling the energy of all the beings around me, all the tree beings and the flowers and just everything natural. And I was like so happy to be grounded firmly with Mother Earth, because many times I have gone, for lack of a better term, just kind of gone away. And in this particular ceremony, I was
like,
working
for context, it was like psychedelic ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah. You can literally say that just so people understand. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. So ayahuasca ceremony, and yeah. So many times one will go, but I felt like this time I was to work on my grounding and to, in a way, allow the dimensional beings or benevolent spirits to come to me. And it was interesting. It was different. But at this moment, though, I remember I looked up in the sky and I saw a gigantic dragon's face, and it was looking right at me. And I wasn't terrified, but I was surprised. And it was almost like my surprisement took me out. And so I had to remember to just be, to just view, acknowledge, but not react. And it was just like, I'm here, you know, like here's another reality, buddy. You know, like, you know, just when you think, you know what's up, here's something that, you know, they don't teach you in school. Here's something that you never knew existed, or maybe you have dreamed about it before, but have forgotten. But and it was just there, and it was like a guardian. It was watching over the circle. It was watching over everybody in the circle. And then it brought me to this tree, like Ent, for lack of a better word, like the tree Ent from Lord of the Rings, kind of like that, but it was a bit bushier. And anyway, that's what that's what Yuuga just reminded me of, and just like I could feel like my belly shaking with the energy when he was talking. So about my circle, I host a fire circle, and I try to do it monthly. And in the colder times of the year, it's a little harder to do so. So sometimes we meet inside with a candle. But either way, we're meeting in front of a light, and I particularly connect with the flame. It's grandfather fire, and we talk about our recent journeys, or we talk about something that has been pressing on our hearts. It could be psychedelic, it can be non-psychedelic. Either way, it's spiritual work, just by speaking out what's what's pressing on our heart. And the fire is very cleansing, and when you give to a fire, and even during ceremony, we'll give to a fire. So if you're really struggling with something, many times you just give it to the fire, and the fire is very cleansing. It'll just take all that energy, just breathe it right into the fire. And so that's kind of what so that is not kind of, that actually is what our circle is all about, is giving into the fire, connecting with the elements. In my work, I host the fire ceremonies, but I also attend sweat lodges, and I sweat and sing with my brothers and sisters. And in Nipi, which we know as a sweat lodge. And then another part of my work is working with the beautiful plant of ayahuasca in a very traditional ceremony, also known as Santo Daime, and working with many plants, the plants of the earth. I've been shown that the plants of the earth are guides, they're teachers. They've signed up to teach us, kind of like a professor in a school. Cannabis is another one. If we take her seriously, if we, not just, blaze up and hang out with our homies, but actual take the sacrament and meditate, and wow, she can take you to some amazing places. Another plant that I've been working with is Salvia divinorum, the divine sage. And I only use just the plant. I don't use any extracts. I used to sit with DMT, but I've learned that for me, in my process, that I couldn't find the plant. It's like it's been extracted so far down to the molecule that the plant was nowhere to be found. And so I no longer work with that anymore. But in the ayahuasca, there is DMT there, but there's also the plants that are there as well. So you have both the molecule and the plant, and I believe that that's the most natural way to accept that sacrament. I could go on, but I don't want to ramble and take too much time. I'm just happy to be here. I love this community. I love that so many people have signed on today and have seen what's going on, and they're sharing their energy, because this really is light work. This is energy work. Light work is all about celebrating life. Sometimes by pondering on our death, pondering about death, about afterlife, and so on. But mostly it's to celebrate life. That is what light is. Light is life. And yeah, if I could just, I think I'll end with that.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. Yeah. And you're, just for people listening, you are on the West Coast. Is that where you're doing your circles?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct. I'm in California, in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Sweet, man. Well, I definitely appreciate the experience that you can bring into the circle. And again, that's kind of the beauty of this, is the idea that, you know, like, through the fact that one of us experiences it, then collectively we're able to just like take notes of the fact to be like, oh, okay, you know, like this is possible within this reality. And so again, you know, these broadcasts, they are a container for this wisdom, for us to be able to put that wisdom into it. And so, you know, I think it's really cool to like go through these experiences, be they psychedelic or anything, and then to be able to bring that, and then for the people listening, just be like, oh, okay, cool, you know, like this is what reality is experiencing. You know, we can kind of step ourselves back to that collective perspective of the idea of like, yeah, okay, we're all like fragments and fractals of one being, and together we're all having these like shared experiences. But yeah, I think it's just going back real quick, the idea of like seeing faces of dragons in clouds, I think that's really beautiful, because I think there's like this whole thing worth looking at in terms of the ideas of like spirits actually being able to show themselves to us through clouds. Because when you think about it, it's kind of like the same way in terms of like how synchronicity would work in any sense, you know, how the universe communicates to us through the language of symbols, and how, you know, things like tea leaf reading works, and, you know, divination works in many sense, and people being able to have the wisdom of the seer, SEER, to be able to see kind of like the language of the universe. And so when you think about it, it would make sense that from that higher perspective of reality, that higher dimensional perspective, that like spirit would actually intentionally communicate to us through clouds, because they're like malleable and they're influenced by energy. And so like if spirit is kind of like moving energy on that subatomic level from that higher dimensional plane, then yeah, maybe if we're looking for things in the clouds, there's an opportunity for us to be able to communicate with other parts of ourselves. And I know that like I've had experiences like and I remember like even on my last psychedelic experience where like I saw like the shape of a wolf in the cloud, and I pointed it out to the friend who I was with, and I'm like that's very much like a wolf, right? Like I'm not just seeing things right now. And you know, and she was like, yes, that does look a lot like a wolf, you know, like beyond the sense where it's just like, oh, it kind of looks like a wolf. Like it was just like, you know, it's crazy. So like within those moments, that's where little pieces of magic can kind of come through into this world for those who are ready to be able to see it. You know, it's kind of one of those things where people say like, oh, you have to see it to believe it, but I think a big way of how this reality works is that you have to be able to believe it in order to see it. So just keep your eyes on the skies, boys and girls. There's a lot going up there, not just clouds. So anyways, we'll keep things moving along. Ron, thank you so much, and we'll keep passing the talking stick here. So again, guys, we're almost, how long have we been broadcasting so far? far, probably about an hour, give or take, just a bit over that. And yeah, we'll keep going through the introductions, and then we'll get into some more wisdom sharing collectively. So keep bouncing around and passing the talking stick as we go. So we got Byron, you want to go next, and then Bhagavan, if you want to go after, or if Jared wants to go after Bhagavan, you can go after. Then Jared can go after. Jesse, if you want to go, you can go as well. And we'll keep passing the talking stick, and we'll go from there. So Byron, passing the talking stick. I repeat things every now and then. Anyways, it's all just practice. Reminder: this is all just practice. Byron, yes, we can hear you. And just as a quick quick preface for those of you who haven't maybe tuned in to previous broadcasts. Last time Byron was here, he was in the process of cloning himself into a baby, and that happened. Byron has done that. He exploded, like a fractal of him emerged into the world, and now there is a little Byron. So congratulations on the new baby boy. 6 weeks old, is that correct?
Baby Bruce. Yep.
Baby Bruce, awesome. Well,
what's that? Yep.
Well, Byron, passing the talking stick over to you. Go right ahead, dude. It's all you.
All right. So if he starts crying, we'll pass it to someone else. But I'm an artist outside of Detroit, Michigan. I'm a former chemist. I'm labeled schizophrenic, but I feel shamanic enough. Lately, I've been working. What I wanted to talk about today was my children's book I've been working on about aliens, evolution, and most importantly, imagination, called Further. And I got a lot more illustrations done. I just drew the International Space Station today. I got like kids on a wagon going through a portal, but you ride like a whale to go through outer space instead of an actual spaceship. I was really discouraged, honestly. Like a few days ago, I read it, a rough draft. I've been reading it. It's in 3 books. So there's an introduction that's supposed to be like a fluff piece, that kind of warms you up. It's a meditation kind of piece when you read it. Like it helps you get into not taking outer space for granted, and which is a lot of inner space too. I can tell you that as a chemist. Like in the movie, The Fountain, they had chemical reactions that were in a petri dish or whatever, and that was under a microscope, and that's actually what outer space is. It's all chemistry, in terms of physical but anyways, I got a lot more illustrations done, and I got to tell you, Brendon, I got to thank you for posting that Ollie thing earlier about your flipping an Ollie. Yeah, man. It was a synchronicity there. I watched Wonder the day before, and Julia Roberts' character, it's a tearjerker, that movie. And Julia Roberts' character is a kids illustrator. And like it got me going back into Further again, because I haven't worked on it in about 3 months. And I've been working on this project for about 5 years now. And I got my a third of the drawings thrown away back in 2015 by my mom by accident when she moved to a different house. But that discouraged me for over a year and a half to even work on the project. But now I'm back in it. I'll show you some pictures as we're going along. I realized that a lot of love is self-love and self-encouragement. I have been butchering the introduction to my kids book, which is the meditation piece, which then goes into Further itself, which is the alien adventure. And then finally, there's a whole bit about getting into STEAM, is what it's called now instead of STEM, which is science, technology, education, engineering, art, and mathematics. And I'll just show you some pictures right here. This was drawn. I mean, some of these are 5 years old. Some of them are brand new. They may say 2018, but this is like an alien. This would be the back cover, with an astronaut, And then let's see here. This is Rome. I got to show you some good pictures, though. I got to show you the aliens, the good stuff. This is the last alien you encounter in the book. They're microscopic. They're nanoscopic. They're basically nanoscopic aliens. And they're super intelligent, and the sequel will dive into that. And that's the consciousness I'm trying to delve into this world, is that within our actual lifetime, everyone in this room right here, within 15 to 20 years, there's the theories that we'll be able to connect our minds to the internet, and we will have short-term memory of Google. It'll be, very fast. And so I'm trying to ease that transition in a positive way, because it's very daunting and can end up actually being like a Black Mirror negative way of happening. But here's another alien I call the Victor. They're weird slugs. They eat algae and bugs off of stones. this is a bat character I have that can walk upright like this. They don't exist that long in the book. But none of the aliens are that long in the book. It's just like a flip through book for like a 10-year-old, I want to say. Even this is more of them. I'm just going to show you of the Victor, the snail looking slugs. I love them, man. I get a kick out of them. I got to show you one of the coolest ones that took me. I'm going to show you the hard process it took me to get through this. Like, so shy of drawing. It's just some ugly thing. I didn't know what I was doing one day, and I was like, okay, I wanted something that looks kind of like an elephant. This is rough drafts, and then I'm going to show you the final draft in a second here. And I was like, all right, what am I going to call it? I don't even know what to call it. An omnifin, an elephant, you know. And I was just like, okay, it's getting ready to come up, and then it's coming up to a tree to get some low-hanging fruit or something. It's there it is, the omnifin. And it's got like a mermaid tail, a weird looking mermaid tail in the back, and bat wings. And it's just, you know, these things could really exist. You know, I'm trying to think of it. It feels right, you know, and it can kind of swim, you know, like this is it swimming underwater. And the planet that you're on is like mostly aquatic, more than Earth. And let's see what else I got. I got probably 2 more pictures, and then I'll be done with the pictures. These are like the trees, some of the trees in there. Let's see if I'll get in focus. Yeah, I base them off of flowers oftentimes and other things, but he's gonna cry in a minute. This is the kids going through a portal, and I gotta change. SETI is supposed to be search for extraterrestrial intelligence. I was gonna name it SETI Fly, but I gotta make it more whale based because the page before has you riding an intergalactic whale, and this is the International Space Station. This is what I just drew today, and I gotta ink it all. All right, buddy. Little Bruce wants to say hello. Come here, buddy. Show the world. It's your first time on TV. Hey, everyone, I'm Bruce. What's going on?
Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce. He's kind of smiling. All right. Well, yeah, it's been a journey, man. This whole thing about I feel confident I can do it now. I even told Weird Al when I met him it'd be done by 2020. I didn't think I was possible, but I think I might be able to get this book done by 2020, and I'm treating this like a job. Like Renee has been 6 weeks off now, and she's off for 8 weeks, and then she goes back to work. And she's an engineer, and she makes enough for both of us. I don't have to do chemistry. I'm working on my dream. I'm working on this book, and I'm going to be taking care of this little dude. I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad, and I'm going to be working on further and doing everything else I do already. Yeah, and it feels good, man. Like it feels like it's the right path. That's how I feel. And I could always talk about psychedelics or anything, anytime. If you guys want to talk about after the show, that's cool with me. I'm willing to talk about the air, but I had to talk sick long enough. So thanks a lot for letting me talk.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Byron. Your art is always super mind-blowing and inspiring, so it's really cool to be able to see what new stuff is coming out of it. So really appreciate that, man. And yeah, looking forward. I love just like hearing about your story, man. It's really beautiful to hear where you are and knowing that you're able to focus and as a father and everything like that. It's super beautiful, man. Like that's what the shift is about, you know. The shift is about family. The shift is about like being able to like manifest our dreams, and I definitely know that like you're creating your art to be able to help like inspire other people, and it is. And I feel sorry for the people listening to this just as an audio in the future who's missing out on all the beautiful pictures. Go back and check it out on YouTube so that you can see what you're missing. So Byron, if people want to be able to connect with you, where would they be able to connect with you, like on social media, if you just want to plug your stuff real quick?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm Woohoo Poo Poo on everything. I have woohoopoo.com, which is it's double O's all around. So WOOHOOPOOPOO, and it's very adult, vulgar, dark humor. The .com, because I was back when I was doing more of that sort of thing. But I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube, and it's all Woohoo Poo Poo. And it's a lot more lighthearted stuff these days. It's very dark humor, though. I'm just giving you a heads up. Like, it's weird, disgusting, vulgar things. So, okay.
Fair enough. Cool, man. All right. Anything else you want to share at the moment? I think that's pretty good for now.
Bruce, is there anything else to share?
Bruce.
Nope, we're good.
We're good.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. All right. Thanks, man. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Sweet. All right. Okay, cool. Beautiful. We got it's awesome to see like family growing through the Paradigm Shift Central project. That's one of the beautiful things is that, you know, like from broadcast to broadcast, there is a bigger story that is being told, that is being woven. And for the people who get to be able to tune into these broadcasts, you'll see that. You'll see the changes happening through the people who bring themselves into the circle. So, I mean, for those of you who have tuned in the past, you've met Byron before. And now, like, Byron's, like, you heard him talking about how there's a baby coming. And now the baby's here. And it's like, oh, my God, like, babies are being born, paradigms are being shifted. It's a beautiful time to be alive. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. So, all right, let's keep passing the talking stick around. Bhagavan or Jared. Bhagavan, give me a thumbs up if you want to go next. And okay, we can do that. And then Jared, Jesse, do you want to introduce yourself as well, either after Bhagavan? Stuff like that, let us know. Okay, cool. Bhagavan, I'm just gonna pull up your microphone in 1 second, and we'll get you to introduce yourself. And cool. All right, man. You can hear us okay? We can hear you okay, I think.
Yes, I can hear you okay. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir, we do. Cool.
Yes,
now, perfect. Bhagavan, excuse me if I'm wrong, but have you been in the broadcast before, or is this your first time?
No, it is my first time.
Awesome. Sweet, man. Well, thank you for joining and welcome to the roundtable. And yeah, again, you've kind of been able to listen in and get a feel for how things roll here. And again, just inviting you to be able to share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and how you're helping assist with the shift in consciousness and anything else that you may be passionate about that you would like to be able to bring to the roundtable. So passing the talking stick over to you, and when you're ready, go right ahead, dude.
Cool. Well, I'm a bit nervous, but thank you very much. It's the first reason I came around is I've been looking to like help the shift, obviously in different ways, working on myself, self-healing for the past couple of years. Actually, I really started get going because you inspired me. Like I think it's in 2012 when you did your was like once in a full blue moon project. That was pretty crazy. I really love that. So
wow, you've been around since then, dude. That was
well, I haven't been around. It's just like I'm from Montreal, so I look like I kept like looking on the internet and everything, right. But I had my home path. I wasn't, as you see, I don't speak very good English. It was way worse back then. So, anyways, and yeah, I've been starting to creating a little bit more. I really like Alan Watts, like philosophy. I've done like holotropics with breathing, obviously, like a little bit of like not much ayahuasca, but I still like did my fair shares of healing. I still feel I got a lot to do, but yeah, try to spread the awareness of love, basically. And I started doing like I've made a few videos on YouTube. Just like it wasn't like crazy, but I really like them. It's getting a little bit better, and I realized I needed to get inspired maybe, and it just came. Your channel on Facebook just came around. I was like, oh, that should be an amazing thing. So I just basically popped on to like get inspired, and it's working really good. It feels good to hear all these stories and everything, awesome, right? Awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and. So, yeah, just coming to get inspired, more hearing than talking, I guess. But yeah, it's good to go on and talk about like all the things I did in the past year. It was amazing, and I really must thank you because that, like, I know it's kind of childish, I don't know, but for me, it was a really big moment. That once a full, I felt so much love on that once in a full blue moon project. I don't know what you called it. It was so powerful for me. It changed everything. I really felt the community. I had my community in like Montreal and everything, but now I'm in Vancouver, so it feels good to hear those stories again. It feels good to have some people that I can relate to in these kinds of things. So thank you very much to everyone for what they shared so far. It's really amazing.
That's really cool, man. And so just to clarify, so the Once in a Blue Moon project, that was something that we did like back in like 2012. Are you saying that like you saw that back in 2012? Is it just to confirm?
Yeah, I saw as it was happening. I think I shared a picture or something like.
Oh wow! So were you in the video? If we were to go back and watch a video, can we find you in it?
Oh, I don't remember, honestly. Maybe not. it was just really great. It was big, and I was looking at a
Yeah.
lot of Spirit of Science back then, and
Yeah.
that's the thing that really like got me kicked in and really got me to meditate more and like make major change in my life. Like, so yeah,
That's
pretty
awesome,
much
man.
it.
Yeah, and again, just for a little bit of context for people who aren't familiar with the Once in a Blue Moon project, was something that we did back in 2012. You can find the video on my YouTube channel. If you YouTube probably like Blue Moon Skull Babylon, it'll pop up on YouTube. And yeah, it was basically a thing where like going into the blue moon, I was like encouraging people to take pictures of themselves with the moon in the background, and then afterwards we like or even video, and then we created like a little montage that was like a really cool song that we had by beautiful chorus. And yeah, it was just like this really cool montage of like community and people like all kind of like collectively putting our love into one little project. And yeah, that project really meant a lot to me too, and I'd like to be able to like echo something similar in the future. It's always just kind of like been hard to kind of coordinate as like Facebook algorithms change and people's attention was all over the place. Back during then, the internet was kind of different, and it was much more possible to get like a bunch of people focused in on one thing, and then it happened. But I like the idea of it, and I'd like to be able to do more things like that. So thank you for even mentioning that, man. That means a lot to me to know that like someone appreciated that like X number of years later. That's so cool. And yeah, man, I was just gonna ask you, because you said you're starting to get into videos, making videos on YouTube. Can you tell us a little bit about like what type of videos you've made so far, or what type of videos you're interested in making in the future?
Well, yeah, I've always been interested like politics, philosophy, and then more spirituality as I went on. So I always wanted to like have an impact, help people feel better, or just create a better world, I guess, or help create it, obviously. So for me, it's try to be very mainstream in some kind of way. Try to get things in a very like deep down, like very simple, like truth or not facts, but like some like I try to find a way to triggers like emotion that makes you feel the love inside of yourself, and that's really what I've always really wanted to do. Like so that I try to trust people with their own goodwill, and I feel that if you can find a way to just get them to feel this is the love inside of themselves, and just walk with them and share with them like your home path and how you feel about all of this. I hope it can help make a world more great to live in, like and experience more like fun to have with other people. So it's very simple. The person I love the most to listen is Alanoise. So if you have a reference, I'm nowhere near, and it's not exactly the same because it's a little bit more out, like very abstract. So something more less abstract, but it's kind of the same thing. So I still love all the other dimension and spirit guides and everything, and I really love to work with those. I've seen mediums, like done a lot of healings, ceremonies of all kinds, but I really want to get that out there with everyone, so that's how it be. I feel like, yeah.
Right
I
on.
have two on my new channel. I've made a few before, I didn't like them, so I've made two, and I'm working on my third one. So when I'm more confident, maybe I'll share when I come back. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome, man. Absolutely. You're more than welcome and encouraged to share. Even send me any personal links if you want me to check some things out, or let us know when you want us to be able to help like share it with the community. I'd love to be able to do that, man, because again, like I think the powerful idea behind what we do within this project is that you don't have to be like a super technological expert to be able to make a video and share your voice. And when we kind of like put ourselves out there and we put our message out there, it helps encourage other people to do the same. And there's something very powerful when we shift into that mode from just being a consumer to a creator. You know, like within the way social media works, so many people, they're just like scrolling through feeds, and only literally, I saw like a graph about this, like 1% of the people are creators, you know, whereas the rest are just like viewers and consumers and things like that. Now that's not a bad thing, but again, like I think when we step into that role as creator, we learn more things about ourselves. We get the opportunity to kind of like observe where there may be resistance to being able to share our voice, and then we kind of begin to find confidence, and then we begin to kind of like realize of like how to be able to share our voice, and finding and playing with different ways, and really like playing with it would be a good way to just be able to keep in mind as we go about it. But yeah, man, I would love to be able to check out more of your stuff, because I haven't seen it yet. And do you want to tell people where they might be able to find it on YouTube if they're listening to this now, if they were to run a search? Or
it's called Waves of Time. The channel. So
Waves of Time.
I got a different way. Yeah, Waves of
cool.
Time. Yeah.
I like the name. Right on, man.
Yeah,
sweet.
thank you.
Awesome. Well, definitely, man. And I make sure if you're not already yet, this goes for anybody, make sure that you're in the Discord chat as well, and maybe you can like post some video links in there, and then that will make sure that like other people can see them. So cool.
I'll come back too. So
perfect. Awesome, man. Is there anything else you would like to share in this moment? Even just any like gratitude you want to express or anything?
Yeah, really, no, just gratitude. I came here to be inspired, and I didn't think it would work so well. So thank you, everyone. And I'm really thrilled, and I really want to come back more often, especially for the next meditation. I feel it's going to be great. So,
awesome.
And thank you for doing that for years.
Yes,
you're great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you as well, man. And just what name do you go by? Do you go by Bhagavan? Just so.
Well, but I don't know my real name. Well, my real name is Matthew. I did a lot of like yoga, like for years. So I was in that mood. So I just chose my yogi name.
Cool.
Kind of, but yeah.
Awesome.
Matthew is my name.
Perfect, man. Well, it's nice to be able to meet you on this level, and thanks again for joining and for being around. So cool, man. Awesome. Sweet. All right. So yeah, and again, you know, this is I kind of said it at the beginning of the broadcast. Like I knew this was going to be a good broadcast, and you know, it's just kind of like getting things in place, the vibration that we carry into it, setting the intention, creating the container, and yeah, when we do that, magic happens. So thank you again to the people listening to this. I want to give a shout out to those of you tuned in on the live chat. You guys are a big part of this circle too. So I just want to give a shout out to people in the live chat, such as Unconditional 1111 Love. That's someone's username. We got Ashley, who is in there, who has been part of the Paradigm Shift Central project for quite a few years now. Turner is also in the live chat, I guess, as well as Ron. It's good to see you guys in more than one place. Shout out to Ryan Sage. I think they're recently new to the project, and they're looking to get involved with future team building circles, so looking forward to be able to see them join in. Shout out to Conscious Mystical Butterfly. Shout out to hold on, browser's kind of lagging there. Shout out to Cosmic Moon. Shout out to Megan. Shout out to anybody else that I'm missing. Gong Body and Amanda, and Yuuga's in there as well. And Yuuga's actually back in the broadcast as well. So cool. Awesome. So yeah, thank you. And for the people listening to this in the future, leave some comments in YouTube. Let us know that you tuned into this. Let us know what these broadcasts mean to you. Again, I've kind of talked about this last broadcast. For those who might have tuned into that one, had a whole different vibe to that one. That was just kind of like more like figuring stuff out. But now we're just like, all right, this is what we're doing. But yeah, you know, last broadcast, I was just kind of emphasizing the idea of like your engagement, hearing from you helps a lot. It helps me like kind of just like continue to get an understanding of what this project means, how to shape it, how to make it better, how to help it like fit our needs. And yeah, it's always just nice to be able to hear from you guys on a one-to-one level. So I want to keep passing the talking stick around, and I haven't done like my kind of like update introduction in terms of other stuff I've been up to, but at this moment right now I will just recognize the fact that it's 11:11, so let's all just take a breath and just do that for a second. So invite you guys to not, you know, take a breath and make a wish, not even just make a wish, just set a little intention. So let's set a collective intention for gratitude for all that is. Simple. So just invite you to join me in just taking a breath here, wherever you are, folding time back in on itself to the moment of 11:11 if you're listening to this in the future and all that. And just join us here as we just take a couple breaths and hold that intention of gratitude for all that is within our hearts. So gentle inhales, gentle exhales. And as you breathe, just kind of imagine yourself like a radar tower just sending a signal out. So even if you visualize just like waves and ripples kind of expanding from your body, let that visual imagination help propel and carry your intention. So again, a couple more breaths here, gentle inhales. Just enjoy the silence. One more breath. Beautiful. And so just taking those extra couple moments to just encode some bonus intention into the grid. Thank you so much for adding your attention, adding your focus. You know, like that's the thing this day and age, like our focus is so powerful and it's so valuable. And again, this is why companies spend millions of dollars to be able to have your focus for like 30 seconds, right? So we need to reclaim that power and use our focus on like the metaphysical things that we can do with it, you know, like creating that intention. I'm talking law of attraction stuff, man. I'm talking like being as clear as we can be and then being able to like meet that reality halfway. So yeah, just figuring out how to manifest things. You know how it is. It's a learning curve. So thank you guys again for being here. How many times have I said thank you this broadcast? Somebody keep track. Go back and listen to this broadcast and count. I'll give you bonus points if you do. Okay, Jared, if Jared's here, Jared, just inviting you to unmute your microphone if you're there, and we'll invite you to be able to talk a little bit. So Jared has been in the broadcast in the past. We haven't heard from him too recently, and again, I know everyone's keeping busy with their adventures of wherever they are, so I'm looking forward to being able to hear from him. Jared, last I heard, was in Connecticut. He was organizing some meetups there on a weekly basis. Super excited to be able to have him back. So, Jared, can you just check in? Can we get some audio from you?
You know, Mike?
Yes.
You got a mic check now?
Yes, mic check is good. So perfect. Jared, passing the talking stick over to you. Welcome back, brother. And again, just quick introduction, who you are, and what you're doing to be able to help assist with the shift, and anything else that you're passionate about that you'd like to be able to bring to the round table. So passing the talking stick over to you. Go right ahead, brother. Welcome back.
Namaste, my friends, here in the Paradigm Shift Network. I'm Jared Maste from Connecticut Paradigm Shift. We had a little stint in Hawaii trying to get Paradigm Shift going there, but that was a little miss. I don't know if we ever got a chance to talk about that or not, but what I've been doing here lately is restructuring things with the whole Friday night gatherings and doing things a little differently because I'm not seeing the progress that I want to see towards the whole world movement. But what else I've been doing is I just went to New York for the March for the Animal Rights, Liberation of the Animals, the vegan movement. Something passionate I'm about to help the animals, help people become more conscious of their eating habits, understand that we don't need to eat animals to survive. And in fact, if we eat animals, it's going to end to our mortality as well, because it slowly poisons us. Most people aren't aware of how it's a carcinogenic one, up there with cigarettes, plutonium, and arsenic. So I dropped some of the science, but it should be just morally. We can do it. What else do we need to hear? But unfortunately, it's addictive, and parasites and a few other things complicate issues. So I'm all over the spectrum a little bit. Anything truth-worthy, I got open ears for. Then I regurgitate so everybody else can become more conscious. Is there any questions? Because we haven't talked in a while.
I mean, that's great in itself, man. And I just like checking in and stuff like that for just kind of like my own insight. Are the Friday night meetups that you're doing, like, in as context for those who are listening and stuff like that, Jared was doing those like just like as around like a fireplace, kind of like a very casual meetup for community to be able to gather, and I love that idea of just having it around the fireplace. Are those like are those restarting, or have they kind of like been on hiatus? You're just kind of like update me on what the status is of those community meetups for you.
I put a little on hiatus for the summer, my schedule and everybody else's schedule. I just felt that it's more of a winter thing maybe, and restructuring it for something maybe every 2 weeks coming up. Trying to set it up so I got a little bigger area to accommodate more people and start more theme-based things where I can coordinate. It was a little too much free flow, which started getting a little too more like party-like, which is not a bad thing. We need social activities, and I encourage everyone to just make it social. We need those connections. We need to have a place to go. And don't worry about it being perfect. Even when I say this, I'm not trying to be perfect. I just had other things this summer, busy, you know? I'm working on business plans as well to hopefully tie together 3 or more of my passions and work under the same roof with the Paradigm Shift networks, with the veganism movement, with consciousness, the metaphysical communities, and hopefully merging this all together so we can elevate ourselves and have a place to go to on a worldwide scale is my goal. You would think it'd be an easy goal to attain with so many like-minded people, but the reality is people are busy, and to give up their jobs and their everyday lives to invest into something like that, they have to see it already operating. And for me to do that, I got to write business plans, get the numbers together, get the money up, and start some GoFundMe accounts and all these other things to make things happen for all of our dreams, so we can like work together towards our dreams and do that full time, give up our jobs and just do what we love and elevate in a positive direction.
Word, man. Word,
It's something I see. Start the alliance, right? The Jedi movement.
Totally.
Whatever way you want to look at it, the X-Man schools, breed for geniuses. People have an outlook. So I think we just need more positive choices in life. And hopefully, if anyone's listening here, this is what I'm all about. We don't have those in the matrix or society, whatever you want to call what we do in this physical dimension. And I want to create more of those outlets. I want to create this alliance where we can grow and work in harmony and share our resources, share our knowledge, share everything, and get the best of everything that we feel is necessary for our survival and what we deem worthy in enjoying ourselves as well, not abandoning our desires, our authentic selves for a job or a lifestyle that we've been sold. No, create your own lifestyle. Don't sell yourself short. And whatever that is, hopefully we can get our goals down and match each other up. And if we have the same goals, like any other sport, we're on the same team. Let's just play ball wherever you are, in whatever state, whatever country, and unite each other. And let's work together towards our goals, together, like any other sport. Stop playing ball for your boss. That's getting him a goal. If you're on somebody else's team and you did that, you look like a fool. But this is what we do in society because nobody else is given choices. I want to get those choices out there. Some positive choices. That's what I'm about. I think I'll leave off there.
Awesome, man. Totally. I definitely appreciate the energy that you bring into what you are building. And I know you're very keen on like a lot of like the, you know, moving pieces of the puzzle and all like the back end managerial stuff and kind of like the business approach. And it's good. Like, you know, we need to kind of like integrate the shift into, as you know, many different spectrums of the society. So, you know, like certain things are going to reach different people in different ways. And again, you know, just going back to like the relevance of the community meetups and why we do those, you know, as humans, as individuals, we have to keep this in mind that there are certain things within this life that we need, you know, like we need water, we need sunlight, we need food, we need sleep, we need rest. And at the same time, the one thing that was often overlooked
Feed the
is
soul,
we
too.
need the soul. And what I'm going to say is the other thing is that we need the social. We need those meaningful social connections, right? And so I think like that is, again, you know, kind of like the epidemic that is affecting society in this day and age is that, you know, state the obvious, we're in a time where the world is like more connected than ever, yet people are suffering from this disconnect socially and everything like that. And so, you know, that's why the paradigm shift community meetups hold so much value, even now more than what they did like in the past, in the sense that like as we keep moving forward, it's becoming more and more obvious that there's people who are, you know, I want to use the word like desperate for meaningful social connection, you know, like they're go ahead. Yeah, Jared, go ahead.
It's also, we're trying to fight the hypnotic trance that's been imposed on us.
Break the like, you know, the sleeping spell that we're under, kind of thing, the hypnosis.
This is a reality. It's covert hypnosis in your books. It's literally indoctrination. It's multiple angles. Whatever you see in society, the brain recognizes and it duplicates. So society is offering choices that implement your thought process. This is a reality if anyone understands hypnotic trance or how the brain works, and monkey see, monkey do, you know? It becomes, what do we do to break those cycles? How do we get through this? How do we help each other get through this? And even if we do understand it, we do get it, and we do want to break through it, can we gain that balance like any other gymnast? Is it just going to happen right away? Like I heard you were doing an ollie. I'm jumping back to that too. You know, it's like you just jump on the skateboard and say, bam, I'm going to do an ollie. Maybe you're good. It can happen, right? But we have to gain balance, and we have to encourage each other and understand it's not going to happen overnight. It's not something that's just going to snap into your reality. You have to change this. We can mention it. We can motivate. We can say things to encourage each other. I encourage people to just jump in, do it. Nobody's got all their stuff together. Nobody has everything perfect. That's the beauty of just getting out there. Do it. Show that you did your part. And then your friend will come over, well, I got this. And then this one will come over, I got that. And now when I say this, oh, I'll do this. I see you're missing this. And we can all work together. And it should be simple to understand, but society's kind of like made us so dependent on others and go to a job to try to fit all your needs. And we should go back to just communication and helping each other attain our goals. And if everyone did that in just simple logic, we'd have all our goals met, and then we can just grow and blossom and feed each other's dreams and the next goal, the next goal. Hopefully we can see that happen, right?
And you know, and again, you know, like that we do see that happen when we're like just sometimes focusing on the local, you know. It's kind of like that mentality of like think global, act local. So again, you know, like your potential within where you are, and this is something I'm talking to everyone about, is that you are within arm's reach of people right now. What can you do to be able to help those people right now, you know? And so again, like literally, I'll just say this real quick, literally, you know, it can be just inviting them into company, inviting them into a circle of like-minded people that allows them to kind of, like we were saying, almost like break that spell, to kind of begin changing their story, for them to be able to see that they are a part of a bigger story, a part of like this bigger shift in consciousness. I think what the value of what paradigm shift is about, and this is something that we put out through our message and with our vibration, is that we encode it with the intentions of like giving people hope, you know. And hope is what people need, because like right now so many people are suffering from apathy. They are suffering from a story that has been told time and time again, and it doesn't really seem to be going anywhere. And so like the news story is like the one of purpose, the one of potential, the one of change, the one of being able to find reward through the little things that make the big difference, through the engagement that we have with another person. Again, you know, like if you're trying to change the world, you can change one person's world. You can help your
Change your world.
neighbor, you know, you can help your neighbor. And so, I mean, like, that may be like the purpose of why your neighbor's with them in the first place, you know? So, I mean, like, just think about all the different ways that we can kind of like reach out and connect with people and plant seeds. And again, you know, the synchronicity will guide you. The intuition will guide you. There are people who are constantly on like this precipice where they're like, already interested in the spirituality and the metaphysics, but they don't have somebody else to talk to about it. And so you can be that person to be like, hey, you know, like, I'm glad we ran into each other and we ran into each other for a reason. Vibrations kind of attract on that level. And again, it's like knowing that you will be attracted to those people allows you to kind of go out your front door with that confidence to go do things like free hugs, to just be aware when you're out and about, to be able to give shift buttons to people. And then you create those friendships, you know, you create those like soul bonds that kind of like expand beyond time. And then that adds value to your life. It adds value to their life. And again, it brings
back humanity, right?
Brings back the humanity. Yeah, that's a good way of putting
to be human.
It, right? So waking people up, you know, like one person at a time, changing the world, one person at a time, one interaction at a time. That's the only way.
Start with yourself, right?
And yes, and
tell the audience here, start with yourself.
Exactly, right?
And it's contagious.
Yeah,
just like anything else, it's contagious.
Yeah.
Start with a smile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put it on.
Yeah, and again, you know, like being very aware of the fact that like the vibration that you carry affects what you create, affects what it comes to you. So like the more you intentionally help kind of raise your vibration, so to speak, which again just means, you know, like clearing out the gunk, getting rid of the like excess, getting rid of like letting go of the old stories that aren't serving us, changing your diet, changing your habits, expressing your creativity, doing the things that make your heart sing, doing the things that like might scare you, yet within that there is growth. Like
have no fear.
And being able to overcome the fear, like those things that kind of like move you into this place of confidence
False
and courage.
Evidence appearing real, right?
Right, fear. Yeah. And when you do that, it shifts your relationship to this reality where you understand, again, kind of like you're able to see the lessons in things, you're able to see the growth in things, and you're able to move through this reality with like degrees of confidence that in this day and age have almost kind of like fell off to the wayside. And that confidence comes through like our intimate connection and our intimate connection to this reality, but more so our knowing of this intimate connection to this reality. And again, you're just going back to the simple idea of like the unity, you know, being able to see like the you and me, the compassion, like those are all super
into me things. You see, right?
Intimacy into me you see. Yeah.
I choose to see with uncloudy eyes.
Yes,
right?
To see with eyes unclouded by hate. Quote from the movie Princess Mononoke, for those familiar. But no, that's cool, Jared.
But we'd be remiss not to mention some of the shadow work, because people are like, well, that's all fine and dandy, but when I go home, reality sinks in. The only reality there sinks in is that you're in control of what you do. Mm-hmm. You could die tomorrow. You'd be like, why did I stop myself from doing what I want to do? Mm-hmm. But the shadow work is real. If people are suffering from depression, it actually releases a chemical inside their body that actually causes them to want to feel that way again. As paradoxical as that may sound, it's a reality. How do you break that? Hopefully we can give some of that information. Smoke a joint. Be happy. Do what you got to do to break that cycle. Mm-hmm. Get out there and be yourself, because if you ain't yourself, you're just somebody else living a lie. Mm-hmm. Get up from lying down and just live your life, because living somebody else's life just doesn't work.
Yeah, you owe it to yourself to be happy, to be joyful, to be inspired, to be creative, to be growing, and to be able to share that with others. You know, like that is the gift that we all have, is that ability to be able to share our perceptions with others, you know, because like it's one thing to just be like, wow, you know, like I'm grateful right now. How can we share that? How can we allow other people to get into that perception as well? And I mean, like that's the kicker, when you're at that state where you're able to be like constantly able to see things from a perspective of gratitude, that's powerful. Now that's not to say you're not always going to be happy and you're not allowed to be
exactly.
sad.
You got to embrace the happiness.
Yeah, you experience that. So
I watched this girl. She had lung issues and everything else. She just passed away the 4th. It was really touching video. I posted it. But wow, did she have a spirit in her. God bless her soul. You know, I wish I talked to her a couple of days. Maybe she'd still be alive, but who knows? But she lived in this constant pain and reality that life isn't perfect. None of us here on this planet are going through a perfect life. Hang up the phone. I got things going on, bills, everything else. It's like everybody else is dealing with. But I choose to be happy. And I even got this little reminder right here. See that? Choose to be happy.
We don't see your video right now, Jared. I'm not sure.
You don't see the video?
No. We've just
not?
been getting audio, so just to confirm.
All right.
It's all right, but we can hear
Hold
it.
on a second. Oh, yeah. Can you see video now? Or no?
No, we can't. So that's all right, though.
No video? You just got audio? Well, whatever.
That's all right.
I'm seeing video on my end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is just glitching. That's all right. No worries.
It's glitching?
That's all right.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Cool, man.
So can you see now?
No, sir.
I choose to be happy. Nope. No video still. Well, anyways, I got a bracelet that says I choose to be happy.
Right.
Constant reminder.
Perfect. That's what we need. We need those reminders. We need to be reminders for each other. And again, like, that's kind of the story that this is, you know, like, we are literally helping each other remember the forming of members, you know, like, in that sense.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, Jared, let's keep passing talking to ground. Otherwise, it's going to turn into like a 5-hour broadcast real quick. But yeah, man, I always appreciate what you have to share, and it's good to hear from you again. And thank you for joining tonight. So
I'm just letting you know, and the fellow shifters here, I'm working for the physical communities passionately, day in, day out.
Awesome.
Even
man.
if it's slow, it'll happen one day. The coalition, the alliance will happen.
Totally.
You'll have a place to join up other than the military and your job.
I see.
That's my dream, and that's what I see.
Word, man.
Liberate ourselves, liberate the animals, and we'll have a good old time here.
Right on.
At least for ourselves.
Sounds like a party. So cool, man.
Peace out.
Awesome. And again, for those of you looking to connect with Jared, we'll make sure the show notes include his information, but also check out Paradigm Shift Connecticut on Facebook as well. And just a quick note on the...
Everyone's welcome to connect with me.
Okay, there we go. So everyone's welcome to connect with Jared.
Absolutely, everybody. Don't be bashful. Don't be shy. You have anything to say. It could be crazy. It could be nice. Relationships, whatever you want. Just hit me up.
Right on.
You're more than welcome.
Right on. Thanks, Jared. And just again, you know, just on a quick note, there's like a bunch of the Paradigm Shift communities that have Facebook pages and stuff like that. State the obvious, not a lot of them are active. That kind of came with like the fact of how Facebook changed and everything like that. I mentioned earlier in the past that I'm going to be like introducing the individual pages within the website for communities. If you're an admin for a Paradigm Shift community or looking to be an admin, message me about that and I'll set you up with like a part of the website of the Paradigm Shift Central website that you'll be able to use for your community that will have like your own forum and like your own blog posting stuff that you can be able to share. So that's something that we want to be able to do that way. So in the future, if people are like looking for the community link, it wouldn't always be about directing them to Facebook, but you can direct them to your immediate URL within the main Paradigm Shift Central website, because Facebook is, yeah, state the obvious, we just can't really keep using it anymore, but that's why we're adapting and overcoming. So let's keep passing talking to ground. Jesse is also here. We're going to see if Jesse would like to share anything. And then from there, we're just going to get into some talking. I'll talk real quick, because I said I was going to, about what I got up to on the weekend in terms of free hugs. And then from there, I just want to get into some wisdom sharing. And then we will wrap it up within the next half hour. So this broadcast will be probably about 2.5 hours. And that's okay. As long as it's not like 5, that's cool with me. Jesse, did you want to say anything? Let me just... bring up your microphone there. So Jesse, all right, we'll pass the talking stick over to you, and again, you can just share a little bit about your name, who you are, and what you're doing to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. So Jesse, when you're ready, you can go right ahead. So
what's up, guys?
All right, loud and clear, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So just one thing is, I have to be quiet. There's someone sleeping right above me. But I'm gonna, try to be as clear as possible. So, very good to be here. I'm a quarter of a century old. It's a good age. And I've made my life into an adventure. And I think this is a really good platform for me to share the story, because it's kind of crazy. And I haven't shared it on here yet. So here goes nothing. I'm from the GTA. It's pretty polluted place. I never liked it. So I realized I had to get the fuck out somehow.
Just ease up on the swearing. If you don't need to, don't
Sorry.
use it. Concise.
Well, I mean, okay. Stop eating as well. Anyways. So, you know, I used to smoke marijuana as a teenager, and it kind of woke me up to a few things. But it didn't really ever help my health in any way. Just made me a little bit more crazy, but that was a good thing because that making me crazy made me do drastic things in order to get out of the system, which isn't very easy to get out of for anybody. It's actually made this way by the Illuminati, so you can't get out that easily. And if there's anybody from the Illuminati listening, I just want to say I respect you, and I hope you respect me. But they're probably not listening. Anyways, continue with my story. I was able to, get out slowly. And as more synchronicities started to happen, I started to realize, okay, things are starting to work. And, I've always believed I had a destiny, which is kind of being fulfilled. I don't really believe in mysticism, like in a religious context, but I do believe there's a mystical side to this universe. So mystical things started to happen, and I just went with it. And I just trusted that what was going on was okay. So I ended up in a part of let's just say it. I ended up in a part of Ontario. You guys already know where I live.
Jesse,
Canada, right?
just to jump in, I just want to be clear on like the intentions for the introductions, just like related specifically to the idea of like how we're helping assist with the shift. Like, not to say your story doesn't have like value to it, but I just want to make sure that like we're clear on like what we're doing with the talking stick right now before this turns into like a story that might be a little bit longer than it needs to for right now. So if you can kind of like take your story and kind of like frame it into the context of like how you're helping assist with the shifts in that sense,
I mean,
then
I'm trying to
continue.
assist. If you could
Yes.
just let me finish.
No, that's what I'm saying. I just want to double check. So go ahead, dude.
Yeah. Have a little patience, grasshopper.
All good.
Okay, thank you. So I'll speed this up. Anyways, I ended up living in an abandoned house in the middle of the woods, all alone. I made friends there, of course. And one of the friends I made was ayahuasca too. Ayahuasca came into my life, and I started to get heavily involved in doing ceremonies like Forest. We're actually a part of one of the same cults. I even want to call it a cult. But this cult, it's full of spiritual people with these spiritual ideas, and I got involved. So after 2 years of doing this and living in that abandoned house, things started to, get bad. I ended up burning the whole place down. And okay, so I ended up burning the whole place down. And this is after 2 years of living in there, to cut the story short. I had to move back to the GTA, and it sucked. It really did. I was depressed because of my condition there. Let's just say I wasn't eating a balanced diet up there for sure. Like, I'm not saying veganism is bad. If anybody wants to go vegan, go ahead.
Right. Jesse, I'm gonna give you just a heads up. You get 3 minutes from here. So, and just again,
okay.
keeping it like streamlined on not just the story, but like the purpose of the story. So
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Well, so when I came back, I was pretty messed up, especially because of the ayahuasca. you know, living in a cold climate, doing all that stuff. So my mission right now is to teach people something about this, right? Because the only way I was able to start healing was, get this, I started to eat rotten meat for the probiotic. So I don't know, you guys mentioned parasites. Well, a paradigm shift might be for you guys, like, parasites is a deception as well. Anyways, this is what I'm trying to teach people is, in order for me to heal people, heal myself and heal others, I think we're gonna have to start eating raw meat, and that's my huge paradigm shift, because I mean, that changes everything. And here is beef heart. See? So yeah, talk about paradigm shift, eh? Anyways, I'm gonna continue taking ayahuasca, but this is my role, to wake people up to all the deceptions that are being fed them, in order so they can remain slaves. Because you're only really free once you're back in your natural state. And there's only one way to be healthy. So, I mean, to each their own, but this is just my story. And I hope this could change paradigms, because this is the only thing that could help me at this point. Because I was leaving that abandoned house after doing all that ayahuasca, I was pretty messed up. And rotten meat was basically the only probiotic that would help. You know, and fermented milk too. So you could love the animals by eating them. You don't have to, you know, but don't cook them, you know. Cooking them is gonna make your skin look cooked as well. Anyways, that's just the way I'm shifting paradigms out in this universe. Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Well, thank you again for sharing your story, Jesse. And yes, to each their own. So, yeah. All right, Jesse, is that good for now? Cool. All right, thumbs up there. Okay, cool. All right. Cool, guys. All right, let's keep moving along, and we'll focus in on like a little bit of like wisdom sharing. Not even gonna be getting into like debate on like eating raw meat versus not eating raw meat. If you guys want to talk about that outside of the broadcast, absolutely feel free to do that, but we're not going to bother doing that here. We've talked about it a bit in the past, and again, you know, to each their own, and let's keep it dialed in on the intentions of just like, you know, at this point, as we kind of like conclude this broadcast, moving in towards the end of it, just again, thanking everyone for being here, thanking everyone for keeping an open mind, for being able to hold space for a variety of different people who choose to be able to be a part of the circle, and for being able to practice the act of listening. And yeah, you know, I'll just kind of talk real quick because I wanted to be able to update you guys on a little bit about like what I got up to last week, and then from there, I want to be able to maybe we can pass it back to Yuuga, actually, since Yuuga's back in the circle, to be able to talk a little bit about maybe any wisdom that Yuuga might feel that they would want to be able to bring to the round table. And again, you know, like wisdom with the intention of, before you even share it, think about the idea of like, how will this be valued by the people listening in that sense? So we want to be able to provide something of value for the people who are listening, as well as being able to practice communicating in that sense. So before we get to that though, long story short, On the weekend, I got out there and I was doing free hugs again, and that was like my regular routine of like riding my skateboard up and down the street here in London, Ontario, Canada. The students were back in town, so there was like a lot of people who were like in town for the first time, and the story in itself isn't really too much different from any other time, but there were some really cool synchronicities along the way where I was actually just like able to meet people again, just kind of like testimony to the fact that every time we go out there and we do things like free hugs, there's always going to be the opportunity for the universe to be able to connect the right person with us at the right time. And I know a lot of you have like done free hugs like throughout your own experiences, and I know even Amanda, I just want to give like a shout out to Amanda because I know she's in the live chat right now, and I know she had a story where she was doing free hugs on World Free Hug Day, which was back on my birthday on July 18th, and she was talking a bit about her experience, how like within the first little bit, like no one was coming up and hugging her, and then so you kind of get in this process of just like, oh geez, you know, like why am I doing this? Is this kind of stupid? Should I even bother? But then eventually she started talking about how she like got a few free hugs, and then like more and more came, and more came, and then eventually it's just like, oh my goodness, like this is why I'm here, right? To be able to connect with those people while also being able to push through the membrane of my own fear. And one of the things in particular that I wanted to be able to tell this story that was really cool is that through my actions of doing free hugs, not only did I give out a bunch of buttons, connected people with our local Paradigm Shift London meetup, and again, for those of you in London, 7 to 9 on Fridays at 268 Piccadilly Street, which is the Tea Lounge. So Tea Lounge, 7 to 9 on Fridays. Check it out, Paradigm Shift London on Facebook. Anyways, one of the people who I was able to give who I connected with doing free hugs was actually like football players for the local university, and it was like this like big black guy, and he was just like totally like really grateful for being able to run into me. And he had another guy who was with him, like also like another really big guy, and then we were talking for a little bit, and I was like, here man, like it was coming near the end of my night, and I was like, here, like do me a favor, hold on to this free hug sign, take it with you. And so he did that. He took the free hug sign with him, and so like in my mind it was just like a really cool idea to be able to know that like here was this like a big football player, someone who we usually think of as having like this macho attitude, not totally into compassion, who was totally into, you know, the power of the heart. And I think it was really cool to know that like that seed was planted, and maybe that free hug sign that I gave him will like go on, and maybe it will like end up in other ways connected to like other players within the football team. So that was really cool. Another thing that I just wanted to share with you guys on the weekend, I went to like a really sweet dance party that my friend hosted, and what was really cool is that like he's very intentional with these parties. And I was kind of like understanding it more on a different level, where I was seeing it as like a modern day sweat lodge. And it was really cool because it was a very sacred space. Like there was no photography inside of like the dance party and everything like that. Like consent was like a very prominent theme, and there's like just like lots of really good conscious vibes and conscious people. But it was just really kind of cool to be able to like perceive the ways in which the like ceremonies have changed for today's day and age, and to be able to think of dance parties as like a modern day sacred ceremony, and kind of like getting into a little bit more of what that might mean. So yeah, that was just a little bit about what I wanted to share. We're still doing our regular Paradigm Shift meetings on Fridays, looking to be able to just like expand things, probably going out and doing more free hugs this weekend, and yeah, always looking for opportunities to be able to connect with people in my community. So that's just a little bit of what I had to share. Other thing, I'm working on some new videos. You guys might have seen I released a new video where like I'm exploring like the humor of spirituality, and I posted up a video on my channel called if overly spiritual people did bad stand-up comedy. You guys can check it out. It's got some like great feedback so far. Guys really liked it, and I'm releasing another video this Friday, which you can check out on my channel at youtube.com/skullbabylon as well. So always working on new things to be able to share with you guys, and doing a lot of back-end work as well as the pre-production and post-production of these broadcasts. And at this point, you know, just thank you again to everyone, and thank you again to our Patreon supporters. And a reminder that you can send individual tip tip donations during this broadcast and beyond it at tinyurl.com/tipwolf. And shout out to those of you who tip to be able to help us reach our monthly goal of being able to help pay for website costs and things like that. So let's get close to the end of the broadcast, guys. I just want to do a little bit of wisdom sharing. We're going to wrap this up within the next 15 minutes, but I want to pass it over to Yuuga to be able to invite you to kind of kick things off with a little bit of wisdom sharing, and then maybe if anybody else wants to jump in, you guys are more than welcome. And then we'll conclude the broadcast from there. So Yuuga, if you're there, I'm just going to pass the talking stick over to you and letting you kind of facilitate for a little bit, co-create any wisdom that you would like to be able to bring to the roundtable at this moment. So Yuuga, if you want to unmute yourself, and when you are ready, go right ahead, dude. Talking stick is, yes, talking stick is in your hand. Go right ahead.
All right, let me ask you this because I could go on and on and on. Do you want to know the truth, or do you want to know what happened?
In terms of which?
In regards to, I guess, the wisdom sharing I have to give, because there's a big difference between the truth and what happened.
What you feel makes more sense for the audience.
All right, well, let me just explain the difference between knowing the truth and knowing what happened. Speaking with dragons, they're very, not, as you say, direct, but they really make you think and learn on your own as much as they're trying to teach you. And a lot of my interpersonal journey has been discovering my own truth. The name I was given, Yuuga, I believe was given to me by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. Now everyone knows the Buddha. And I had a very intense experience the first time I meditated with Siddhartha. And I ended up was given crimson tears, and what that means was I cried when I cried blood. Not literally, I bled when I cried. When I first meditated, and I believe I perceived nirvana for a moment. It was like being at the center of every emotion I could understand and not understand. It was neither good, it was neither bad. It's simply not in a mystical way, it just was. And then again, my birth name is actually Emmanuel, but I like I said, I feel like I was given the name Yuuga. I let it happen as well. It was just something that popped in my head. It had to have two U's. And ironically, as this name was given to me unconsciously, the name Yuuga or the word Yuuga with one U would specifically mean to be or to exist in Japanese. Now, Yuuga with two U's essentially would roughly translate to a sustained state of perfection and refinement, but they just say elegant for our sake and term. Working with dragons is a very profound and intense experience. I had many dragon guides, but the dragon I referred to, it wasn't until, I would say 2 years ago, that I understood who he was, because, like I said, dragons are very, not direct, but they're very, very communicative. If you're opening to name. And a lot of things went wrong in my life the last few months. I had a very disturbing experience doing some just regular everyday work. A little trigger warning, I am a survivor of sex abuse. I was not abused, but I had seen a child prostituted in front of me at a mall. I tried to stand up and do the right thing, and I ended up getting banned from a mall I had been working on and off for years. A lot of people knew me at that mall. Wanting to stand up and do something that needed to be done, not for recognition, but to lay your life and put yourself on the line when you know they can't defend yourself. I was doing some vigilante work just within my own apartment complex, and within the first 2 nights of doing it, I had already changed people's lives. I had saved an elderly man. I had stopped someone mid-rape attack. And it's not an easy thing to do. I don't recommend doing it. I got pretty beat up by 4 dudes, but a lot of it was I needed to see how much I could push myself. I needed a very real thing, because most of my life I've been depressed. I still have some form of depression. And that's what really got me into the crystal healing. I was so desperate for truth at that point in my life. I literally just grabbed a stone and said, "What do you know? I know you're real. I know you're millions of years old." And I heard the voice of stones. I could understand why these things were here, not just on a technical sense, but on a very, very spiritual level. One time I was holding a stone known as a Himalaya gold azestolite. And my very good friend, I would call a brother, had passed away. And I was holding the stone at my heart, and I could literally hear a voice from the stone. It was a feminine voice on this one. And it said, "I could look, I can see, I can hear. I become what's around that is clear." And as I was going through my training for my vigilante work, felt like I had again, that clear essence came out to be. As far as survival goes, I was given some very good tips with, and along with my native blood, I have a great ancestor. His name was Little Feather. I'm doing a live stream. I'm talking, so kindly wait. So in the middle of the experience, I was given clear instructions, and it was specifically move, keep moving, don't look back. If you find a problem, move around the problem. Leave everything behind to avoid becoming a problem. If you don't, you're dead. If you hesitate, you're dead. And that was crystal clear. And then throughout, after doing the vigilante work that I had done, I also was tapping into the radionic field. I won't get too much because it's a very intense thing. But working with the radionic field, I was doing that for the water filtration with the shungite. And I feel like I created something. Doing the research I've done the last 5 years of my life, I've dedicated just about everything to understanding why I needed to know the truth. I've always had this deep, deep desire, not if it was a need, just this own desire to understand why I wanted to know just why. And going back to my name, Yuuga Umarekawete, it can translate to, in a very rough sense, the enlightened one who questioned his birth. And that really, really stuck out when I was finally able to translate it and really understand what that exactly meant for me. And not just me on a personal level, but what I could do as the voice of the dragons. What I could understand that no one else would. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a quote-unquote light worker. I serve the light, the nameless light, with the azestolite. That is a very, very profound stone. I do a lot of shadow work. I'm not a black magician, but I'm not afraid to fight a demon when I see one and pull out their own craft.
Yuuga.
As these last few months.
Sorry, I'm not interrupting,
yes.
but I was just saying, let's pass the talking stick in a minute. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll wrap it up there.
Yeah. Go ahead. Say
The greatest thing I had learned in these last few months of my life, having my twin flame reunion, having the 5th anniversary of how this all started for me, September 21st to be specific. This last year being involved with Brendon has been not exactly the easiest, but the most clear in regards to the crystal and everything that had come around. So anyone listening, anyone watching, you can become anything you dream. You can be the greatest light and love anyone dare to see. So I challenge you, and I challenge everyone listening, our love.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, dude.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I've got calls, so I'll tune out, and then if it's still on, I'll tune back in.
Yeah, we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon, so yeah.
And I just want to say really quick, thank you so much for pulling this back to me. I was not expecting that, but I'm more than ready to converse. I've always been wanting to be an active member. Thank you so much, Brendon. It means a lot to me.
Thank you as well, man. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk more.
Yes, there's always more to talk about. So, again, guys, we're just gonna pass the talking stick just around a little bit more. Like I said, at this point we don't need this to become like a 3-hour long broadcast. We're going to keep it fairly concise. I wanted to be able to check in with Turner, actually, and just put him on the spot to see if there's anything that he might be wanting to share, maybe some thoughts that have come across your mind while watching this broadcast. I know you've been very attentive while listening and everything like that. But yeah, I just want to be able to check in, and if anybody else as well wants to be able to just like say something before the end of the broadcast, leave a comment in the live chat and just let me know. And then before we wrap up the broadcast, we'll just take a moment to pass the talking stick around to be able to express any gratitude as we wrap it up. Even any intentions as well, intentions and gratitude. Turner, are you okay if I put you on the spot? Is that okay? Yeah, you're okay. Your whole life was leading up to this moment. No, just kidding. Maybe, I don't know. Every moment is this moment. Turner, I'm passing the talking stick over to you, dude. Whenever you're ready, go right ahead.
Sounds good.
Go for it.
All right. Well, you know, like just listening to what everyone has to say, you know, it really resonates deeply within me, you know, how we're all having these unique, very profound experiences that aren't just, you know, powerful to ourselves, but when we get to a point where we can share them with other people, you know, regardless if it's just one or two people, you know, that in itself is a domino, is very powerful. And you know, just listening to what everyone has to say, the one thing that always came back to me that just kept coming up in my mind was empowerment. You know, taking the power away from that which controls you and putting it back into yourself. I think this is what we really need to begin to awaken to, is freeing ourselves from whatever it may be that has some kind of energetic connection that does not empower us. Taking the reins back and putting it into yourself, you know, whether it is, you know, eating raw meat, or whether it is discovering yourself through ceremonies, or whether it is through just whatever it is that in your experience and your personality allows you to bring that back into yourself, to connect with yourself, so in turn you can understand and reflect back onto the world around you. So that's very powerful for me, and I really hope that resonates and rings true with others.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
It's again, you know, it's kind of fun when we put ourselves in the place of just like, you know, like, again, wisdom sharing, that intention. What does that mean? It's the idea that like each of us carries some kind of wisdom, and that wisdom comes through our experience, right? You know, like what is wisdom, right? Like in some ways, mathematically speaking, wisdom is knowledge plus experience. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. So again, you know, like wisdom isn't something you get out of a book. Wisdom is something that you learn through the gnosis, the knowledge through experience. So you get knowledge out of a book, but you don't get wisdom out of a book. You get the wisdom of reading it, but like true wisdom comes through those like direct felt experience. And again, you know, like each one of us carries unique experiences like that. Again, kind of what Turner was saying, that it's a beautiful thing to think about the idea that each one of us as consciousness, as soul, as spirit, is choosing to perceive this reality in a unique and equally valid way. And like all of these different paths kind of like leading to different forms of awakening. So it's crazy. Cool. All right, Turner, was there anything else, or pass the talking stick?
Yeah, no, you can pass it on to someone else and we can keep this moving along.
Cool, man. Cool. Sounds good. All right, just checking in. Let me just see if there's anybody in the live chat. Okay, nobody volunteered in the live chat. Just double checking. Either Matthew, do you want to say something? Did your hand almost go up there? No, I'm not putting you on the spot. No, it's okay. Ron, did you wanna say anything? If you do, Ron, you can just you know how to work that as well. I know Ron's always got some wisdom to be able to share. I'll just share a little bit real quick, and again, you know, this is just because like this is like something that I probably said it last broadcast actually, but I'll just say it again real quick. It's a very simple sort of like metaphor to be able to understand something that I feel can be very powerful. Long story short, it's a basic idea that like each one of us shines the exact same light. And what I mean by that is that like at our core, at the heart of our being, each of us is that same light. Call it consciousness, call it love, call it source, whatever it is. The only thing that's different within this reality, because right away you're just saying, well, you know, like some people aren't as bright as others, or so to speak, bright in kind of like a spiritual sense or whatever that means to you, right? But what I'm saying here is that at our core, each one of us shines that bright light. What happens within this reality is that throughout our growth, we cover this light with dirt and gunk and mud and illusions and like belief systems that don't fully serve us and things like that. And so, what our role is as we progress, as we level up within the game, is to become aware of where that gunk, that dirt is, and to be able to clear it away, to be able to peel back the layers, to be able to like peel back the layers of ourselves so that that light on the inside can shine through even brighter, as bright as it is meant to in that sense. So again, in that perspective, it's really being able to understand and see everyone as equal, while still being able to say like, oh shit, you know, like you can empathize with the fact that that person's got a bunch of gunk on their heart, and it's and through that their expressions become ones of like anger and frustration and envy and greed and all of these other things that kind of like aren't always, you know, the happiest experiences and things like that. So that's basically just like the long story short of the metaphor. It's just kind of like within our individual work, look for where that dirt is. That dirt is like things that we can clear away through shifting our habits, through shifting our diets, through shifting our narratives, through shifting our belief systems, through letting go of things that no longer serve us. So again, just putting that out there. It's a very simple idea, but I feel that metaphor is a slight shift of the paradigm that can kind of like help us understand a little bit more about what it is that we are doing. So, but again, that's just my perspective on things. Ron, I want to put you on the spot, and maybe we'll just check in. And again, if anybody else, Jared, if anybody, Byron, if you guys want to share anything, again, we're just wrapping up. Any wisdom that you feel you would like to be able to deliver for people tuned into this broadcast, please feel free. Ron, you got something you would like to share?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. This is your free will. I'm not putting you on the spot, so it's up to you. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
One thing.
Go ahead. Yep, you're good.
One thing that I like that you talked about was, you know, that we are of the same light. You know, if you look at it, if you look at the plants, you know, there are teachers. Trees, there are teachers. Everything of nature is our teachers. And what are they doing? They're lifting their limbs up to the sun. They're gathering in all that sun's energy. But at the same time, they're also deeply rooted within Mother Earth, and they're gathering all that earth energy at the same time. And so if you think about it, we do the same. We're like walking plants. We gather in the sun's energy. We need the sun's energy.
Yes.
We gather in the earth energy through eating, you know. Yes, our feet can be deeply, you know, rooted. We can root ourselves. We could ground. That's a good technique to have. But we also we root ourselves in a different way, and that's by eating, you know, nutritious food from the earth. And we all do this, and in a way that makes us all one. And we do have that same light, and that's the same light of the sun. Just like when you look at a fire, what really is fire? Well, fire is the sun. It's the energy of the sun coming out of the wood that's being burnt, or whatever is being burnt. It's the energy of the sun. So we're just recycling, pretty much. We're just taking that energy out of that wood and giving it back to the sun, so that the sun can then give us back the energy.
Yeah.
In form of warmth, electricity, life, light.
Yeah.
One thing I know is that when I work with medicine, I love the sun. Like I feel so connected with the sun when I'm in a altered state of mind, for lack of a better word. And I feel like there is more there than what is known of the sun. What we know of the sun, I'm not necessarily sure if that is necessarily the truth, or maybe it's like a half truth, you know, not quite all the truth.
Yeah.
But it would be a very interesting life's journey to make it your goal to understand what truly is the sun. Is this really just a, you know, burning ball of gas, you know, millions miles away of what we're told, or is there a more connection to it, to us and the sun?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that just got me thinking when you said that, like that the light, you know, same light shines, and the light of love, you know. But once again, don't you feel loved when you're, you know, when you feel the warm sun rays? Sorry about that. I don't know what that was.
That was an affirmation from the universe.
Right.
The Devas agree. Beep beep.
Wow. And 1111 just flashed like on my screen at the
that's right.
same time too.
Yeah.
Whoa. Synchronicity. But yeah, just that warm feeling that you get when you're on the beach, you know, and you just feel that love. It's a lot like when you're at a concert or at a place that's full of people with good energy, like, you know, Lightning in the Bottle, or, you know, Burning Man, or, you know,
Lucidity Festival.
Lucidity, yes, Lucidity, you know, all those, and you feel that love from everybody. If you think about it, it feels a lot like that, like same sunlight. Kind of feeling that you were getting from that sun.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, that's something to think about. It's like, whoa, man.
It is, dude. Like, seriously,
light
like
up the joint moment.
Yeah, if we really were to just sit there and just meditate about what the sun is and what light is and stuff like that, it gets pretty trippy and stuff. I mean, you know, like there's some man, it's weird, man. Like there's the whole idea of like the sun almost being like a portal or like a Stargate or something like that. Or one idea is like a sun is actually kind of like the polar opposite of like a black hole. So like where black holes are not even so much, I mean, if you think of it as a whole, that's one idea, but it's also just like this super incredibly dense object that has like this crazy gravitational field. But again, like what happens when that goes inside it? Like, dude, we should try that sometime. But the idea that like the sun may be kind of like the opposite of a black hole, so where energy gets sucked into black holes, energy comes out of sun holes or something like that. I don't know. Again, I don't know if we have the answers to that, but there's there's some pretty interesting things when it comes to the sun that I think you know, in terms of like esoteric wisdom, they've been asking that question for a while. So yeah, it's trippy stuff, man.
Right, and all the elements. I mean, that's just one element, you know. I mean, the element of fire. Well, then it's like, well, what's the element of fire? Well, really, it's the element of the sun.
Right. Yeah.
And then, you know, you think about wind and water, and that'll be a different discussion.
I mean, that just kind of branches off into this one thought process that I love to play with, and it's the idea that, like, keep in mind that we literally are the elements in human form when you think about that. Like right now, like here's a little paradigm shift for you. You literally are like earth, water, wind, and fire that has worked its ass off over years of evolution, or whatever you want to call it, to be able to have like this physical form where we can walk, talk, and experience, you know? Like, it's a crazy thing just to be able to think about that we literally are the elements in human form. You know, the human body literally is all the elements. So, I don't know, it's trippy stuff, man. But yeah,
sure.
Let's just kind of check in, and we'll bounce the talking stick around. And again, we're really close to wrapping up the broadcast. Rebecca just dropped in. Hey, Rebecca. I was about to say we'll pass the talking stick over to Rebecca real quick. We are near the end of the broadcast, but it's never too late to be able to hear from a couple other shifters. And I just wanted to be able to check in. Ron, was there anything else real quick? I think, you know, there's always more mysteries on the horizon.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know, if anybody's ears are tickling when hearing this, find a sweat lodge, find an inipi, you know, some sort of spiritual sweating of some sort. You know, not just a sauna, but it's got to have like a spiritual intention.
Yes.
Even if it's just, you know, putting a tent in the backyard on a hot day and sweating it out. Sweating is cleansing. It's another way of la purga, you know. It's another way of you know, getting those toxins out. I mean, you can vomit the toxins out, you know, or you know, there are ways that our body releases toxins, and sweating is another one to do that. That's why a lot of people feel wonderful after a good workout. Is that sweating. But what a sweat lodge in particular, a dark womb of Mother Earth in particular, those elements will just come alive. I words can almost hardly words. It's really hard to express in words how real these elements are. And if you want to find that out for yourself, find a sweat lodge. They're, you know, they're all over. So you gotta just look around. Unfortunately, you can't really advertise those. But yeah, but just feel where you're resonating, and that's your spirit guiding you somewhere. And I'll leave with that.
Word, yeah. No, I mean, again, you know, like within this, this, like I said, there's always just like, oh, geez, like every topic links into another topic, and you know, like there's a whole topic we could talk about there just about being able to, like, you know, develop our intuition, what it means to follow our intuition. And then there's like a topic of like how chakras relate to intuition. I was talking to someone about that yesterday. It was really key, and about like how we feel our intuition through our chakras, and each chakra kind of has like its own degree of intuition. Whereas like your gut feeling, that's your sacral chakra. Your like heart twangs, that's your heart chakra. Your third eye kind of like getting intuitive visions, that's like your third eye chakra. And so it's just kind of interesting, and you know, I invite people to kind of think about that a little bit further on their own. Like I said, guys, the intention at this point is to be able to wrap up the broadcast. We're already kind of like past our original timeline and everything like that, but we'll keep it going just for a little bit more. Rebecca, give me a thumbs up if you want to just like say hi and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So earlier we were just doing general introductions, and again within that we just kind of say like who we are, where we're from, what we're doing to be able to help assist with the shift, and any wisdom we would like to be able to bring to the table. So Rebecca, you are welcome to do that. And let me just try and get the audio for your microphone here. So Rebecca, when you're ready, I'm going to pass the talking stick over to you. And just as an introduction, Rebecca's been involved with Paradigm Shift longer than anybody else here, because she was involved with it physically when we were doing it at my college back in the day. So Rebecca, good to have you here. Welcome back. So the talking stick is in your hands. Go right ahead, Rebecca.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, I actually get kind of nervous when I have to talk in front of people, so it's something I'm practicing a little bit. And actually I just tuned in to listen, but basically I don't know what to say right now.
How have you been helping shift consciousness, either through your own journey or any things you're involved with lately?
I think like meeting people who are really inspirational and on a similar path is good. But I don't feel like I've been doing a lot of like actually I'm involved in this group. It's called 21 Days of Healing Activation. And it's a Facebook group, and my friend Eli started it with all the people he knows. So we're doing like a daily meditation, and we're all sharing in this like Facebook group, and we're just basically like praying for each other and for humanity to waken up. So I'm involved in that group, so I think that will be helping shift consciousness on levels I may not understand. So
Right on. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's good. It's good to be able to just kind of like take, you know, we don't always have to be involved on like super heavy levels in terms of like, you know, community involvement and things like that. Like, again, a lot of the inner work is just knowing when we kind of like need to have that space to just shift our focus, and sometimes that can mean just doing things in a simpler way, yet clarifying and getting, you know, like really present with our intention, so to speak. But yeah, Rebecca, as we just kind of move into the end of the broadcast, we're just going to go around the circle and invite people to just share any intentions or gratitude that they would like to be able to express. Would you like to do that? Is there any intentions or gratitude that you would like to express in this moment?
I have intentions to exercise more, sweat more, and I'm grateful for my family and the people who care about me.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, and I'm glad you were able to make it just in time. So right on. Cool. All right. Thank you again, Rebecca. Thumbs up. So cool. All right. So as I said, guys, let's just go around the circle as we conclude the ceremony here. You know, like, again, really holding space for the idea that like this is our version of a sacred circle. You know, so kind of like bringing forth that vibration of the ancestors, doing it in a digital format. What can that look like? How can we make it better? How can we continue to grow through that experience? So again, I've said it like how many times? Is anybody counting? Thank you for being here, and let's just pass the talk and stick around. So anybody who would like to at this point just express any intentions and gratitude, this is the moment to do it. So if I can either get like okay, so did Byron? Okay, Byron, we're gonna pass it over to you. So Byron, when you're ready, go right ahead, dude.
Yeah, it's been very surreal for me for these past 6 weeks since Bruce has been born. I'm a first-time father, and it's hard for me to even hear the word myself being father. And it's kind of like the opposite of a funeral for me, because I've had abuse in the past, and it kind of delays reactions when they're very heavy for me. But for like a funeral, for example, when it comes to death, it takes, like, I'll make jokes at the funeral, it doesn't register. I don't even mourn to sometimes a year later or something. But in this case, every day I've been just feel like I'm more of a father. At first, I thought I didn't love him enough, and it really scared me. He felt like he was just a responsibility, and I was afraid that I wasn't loving him enough. But now that we've grown, it's only been 6 weeks, but it's been a long 6 weeks too. I'm sure I got an extra gray hairs from it, but it's totally worth it. And it's like, it's so weird to see parts of me and parts of me, and it's just it's so surreal and unreal to me. I never knew this type of love could even exist. You hear it all the time, and I just got to tell you this: like, I don't plan on having any more children, but if I do it, I do. And but the truth is that I did it responsibly. I'm 32 years old. I waited this long to do it in my life, and it's not like I would have waited. He's everything to me. Like, I didn't know that. I don't know. I guess that's about it. It just, I now know I love him. I now know, and it's just it's great. That's all I can say.
That's beautiful.
And so I found new love. I found romantic love in my life. I found love from my own family. I found love from friends. But now I found love from creating a family, and it's unreal.
That's really beautiful, Byron. And again, you know, thank you for sharing. And I think I'll just kind of like say something to you and to everyone. I love the idea that like through loving one person or one being, we love the entire universe. You know, so that like by you loving your child, by you loving Bruce, like you're literally loving everyone. Like you're literally loving creation as a whole in a sense. And I think again, you know, what's amazing is that through relationships that we have, relationships with family, with children, with lovers, with romance, with community, we see how we show up. And that's where I feel like the value of like the journey is in being able to kind of like be in a moment, just be in our natural flow, and then to later be able to step back and be like, wow, like that's what I did. Like I showed up, like I was able to kind of like show up with this degree of love that maybe I didn't even know I had. And so again, it's kind of like this like seed that's growing. It's like this shell that's cracking. It's something emerging within us that is this natural love that is just like has this nature to be expressed. And sometimes like until it has a place to be able to direct it, we don't fully get to experience it. And so again, you know, this is where the value of community in general goes, right? You know, like sometimes when we're creating anything, you know, there is like a birthing process. There's the love that we put into it, the intention we put into it, and things grow. And so, you know, physically with a child is very powerful. And again, you know, like I think like like not only does the child like have the experience of itself as being born and everything like that, but you and yourself, Byron, and for anybody else who experiences this, like you are born. Like you are born simultaneously through this experience, reborn, born more into who you are. But dude, yeah, no, thank you for sharing, man. It's a beautiful thing for you to be able to see this, and truth be told, I think Bruce may be like the youngest member to take part in a Paradigm Shift team roundtable. So thank you, Bruce, for being here as well. So
42 days old or however old, yeah.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Byron, anything else? Is that good for now? And thank you again, man.
No, that's it, man. I was rambling a little bit too much on that, but I'm good, man.
That was perfect.
Okay.
That was perfect. Awesome. Sweet. Thank you, Byron. Cool. Okay. Again, just concluding the circle as we wrap things up. Anybody else raise their hand who would like to be able to practice communicating some intentions and gratitude before we wrap the circle up? You guys see your hand. I just want to make sure if there's anybody else before you. Anybody else? If you guys aren't putting your hand up now, I'm assuming you're okay with not doing it, opposed to just like not doing it right now. So if anybody doesn't want to do that, then again, you know, just like I know, just like the gratitude is mutual across the scale. Jared, I saw your bleep on your mute thing, so I'm gonna pass the talking stick over to you, and then Yuuga, we'll get to you in a minute. Jared, any intentions or gratitude that you would like to express? And Jared, just check your microphone. I'm not sure if you need to. Yeah, you need to unmute. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can.
Intentions and gratitude. We can go on. Gratitude for our lives, right? And our freedom of will and choice. Choose to be conscious or not. Gratitude for all these great people here coming together to share our knowledge, share our thoughts, help each other grow upwards, like the plants, right? Not like that, just grow up like you're a kid. Just grow up, kid. No, grow up like a flower. Grow upwards, not downward into death.
Unless you're building your roots, grow up and
yeah. Yeah, true. Good point there. Got me. Yeah. But it's still in a good way, right?
Yes.
Not in a bad way. So I have much love and gratitude for everybody. There needs to be more of that, more positive choices to choose from. And even when we think it's dark and despair, like some people have mentioned some things, not to go to the dark side too much. But there's always a way where there's a will. There's options that elude our perception. We may just have to look a little more or ask somebody to take a better choice. And gratitude that I found in veganism and the options and choices that we have that eluded my perception in the past. And I'm thankful for being conscious that there are other options that are right available, free even. It's like medicine, it heals you. For having that knowledge and be able to personify that and regurgitate it to help other people along their path so they don't have to kill animals and kill themselves in the process, unwittingly and unknowingly, when it's just a little bit of information we need to understand about the plant world and what's right in front of us for free. Of course, there's those little dangerous plants out there you got to watch out for. But other than that, I have much gratitude for our knowledge and our group.
Mm-hmm. Word.
And maybe we unite on other forefronts and levels and find the courage to say screw it and get people together, like I've formulated, even if you don't have it all together. Merge your own little groups, meet at a coffee shop, do whatever you got to do. Get like minds together. Enjoy your life. Namaste.
Namaste, man. Cool. And Forrest, you're heading out. Thank you, Forrest, for being here. Jared, thank you as well. Forrest, real quick, did you want to just say bye before you jump off? If you wanted to, you don't have to. If you want to, I know you're like literally on priority other missions. Mic off. Okay, cool. Forrest, thank you, man. Appreciate you being here. All right, and Jared, thank you again as well. And again, you know, just kind of like going back to what I was talking about with Jared, and even just
you're welcome.
With to Byron, and even what Jared was saying, you know, I invite people here, like as a shift mission, look for ways in which you can practice expressing your love. You know, look for things that you can practice putting your love into. So again, you know, that can be art, that can literally be a garden, that can be yourself, that can be community, that can be a family member, that can be a stranger, that can be a friend. Look for that. Look for ways like that you can kind of like, your love is like a river. It's like water, right? It's looking for ways to flow. So if we kind of create the path, the love will flow through there. And then through that, kind of like we said, we kind of like learn about the love that's inside of us to give. So like, how crazy is it to think that all of us kind of have all this love inside of us, but maybe it's stagnant, you know, maybe it's just kind of like sitting there like a bog and things like that. And so we need to be able to create the avenues, the pathways, the channels to be able to direct that love in that sense. So just something I wanted to share. Okay. Yeah. Jared, one more thing.
I want to touch upon with the sunlight and the warmth and connection of vibes. One of our other members are speaking of. I didn't get a chance to add to that aspect of our empathic side and how we're all in touch with this inner trait. We all know it when the salesman comes to our door. We get this feeling. Some of us are out of tune or don't understand it. But the feeling of the sunlight that comes to us and the downloads, whatever you want to look at. But we feel, we know things. And the more we tune into that, the more we can gauge. The more we tune into ourselves and seclude ourselves, the more we can see the difference in the telepathic or the empathic message as we feel what others feel. And we feel the message from the sun, the earth as we ground. I wanted to add that little bit of information when we ground and we feel the sunlight, and how it even was prescribed in the past for people to go to the beach to feel better, to heal. And there's science to it, of course. It's not just this wooey metaphysical thing. There's the negative ions that go through our body that help realign our atoms and our structures in our body. That's my little tidbit I wanted to add to.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Welcome.
Sweet. All right. Again, guys, just getting concluding the circle, moving it into its final moments as we do this, and just passing the talking stick. Yeah, it's 12:34 EST right now, 12:34 a.m. at the time of this recording. And there's a couple other notes that I'll just mention right before we get to the end of this in terms of upcoming broadcasts I want to be able to let you guys know about. Get ready for some things coming in the next couple weeks. So before we do that, though, just checking in, anybody else who would like to be able to express any intentions and gratitude. Yuuga, you wanted to share something real quick, and I think that's after that we'll call it, we'll wrap it up. So Yuuga, let me just get your microphone levels back up here. So again, just in this moment, just any intentions or gratitude that you would like to share before we wrap this up, dude. Go right ahead.
I was wanting to ask you if I would actually be allowed to do kind of a dragon blessing or a healing session, not necessarily a session, just do a closing ceremony for this session. Yeah, I send you a message on YouTube. It wouldn't be more than 2 minutes. Just a breathing. Close your mind. Close your eyes. Feel the energy that is there. All right. Okay.
So yeah, no, go right ahead, man. You can do that now. So that's cool.
All right.
Me.
Let me get outside. It's a little crowded energetically. So any that wants to participate in the moment or in the future, I ask that you be still, that you close your mind, that you close your eyes, and open your heart, and open your belief to anything that is. Because yes, everything exists. And as we are together in this circle in this moment, any that wish to feel the healing of the dragon, or just see and just listen and be still. Feel the coils of your breath exert out and coil yourself down to the mother. With the earth as the witness, I say with my voice and with my breath that we breathe in the nose and we push everything with the forces of our will out of our mouths. And we do this one more time in the nose. And all together we will go out of time and create a space where only light, where only the guardians and those that are protected and need to be protected in this moment and thereof. Are we alive? Are we love? Are we one? And are we still? I speak the way I am, and I speak the will of all that is. And I speak the way we were born to be, whether we're messiahs, savior, kings, or those who need saving. We are to be. Amen.
Amen, Ra. Cool.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you as well, dude. Cool, man. All right. And any last, just again with the microphone, talking stick still in your hand, any last gratitude that you just want to be able to express? Yuuga? If there's any, just, yeah.
No, the amen, Amen Ra, whatever's
that
most
sums
comfortable.
up, so.
That was my closing statement.
Perfect, man. I love it. Cool, dude. All right. Awesome. Okay, guys, thank you again, and thank you as well, everyone, for tuning in, for holding the space, and just want to give you guys some heads up in the coming future. So again, we got our regular Sunday global meditations at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in for those. Check out the recordings online afterwards. Those are about being able to not only create community connections, but also being able to develop the habits and the routines of the benefits of what we can experience through collective guided meditation together. And that's also like leading up into like deeper stories. So if you're kind of doing them in sequence, they will add into each other, and you'll get a more enriched experience together through doing them as a sequence. And just letting you guys know that we have the intention to be able to do the last Thursday of each month as a Destiny School class. And so what Destiny School class is a specific topic that we do as it's like still a broadcast here, it's still a roundtable focusing on a specific topic each time that we do it. What we're going to do for the end of September, we are going to do the topic of ancient cultures and spirituality. So this is inviting you, students of the universe, to be able to do some homework, help me, like join me in doing some research, and we can do this through the Discord chat as well in the meantime, to do some research, to kind of like get some information, study some things, learn some things that may be new to us about ancient cultures and spirituality. And then we will come together as a team to be able to prevent them as a shared broadcast, to be able to provide that value to the people tuned into this, who will be able to get to tune in and learn a thing or two about ancient cultures and spirituality as we continue to learn more about our modern day world and spirituality and how it has been built upon the foundations of the past. So I'm looking forward to being able to experience that. That will be quick. Someone, what's the date on that last Thursday? I want to say like September 27th ish. That may or may not be right. Actually, let me just pull up the calendar on my iPad. It is September 27th. Ha, I was right. My intuition. Oh, my guides. They told me the date. No, I think I already knew that. Anyways, so yes, join us in for that one. That will be exciting. And in between that and now, the next week will be, to be honest, I'm kind of playing around with the idea of next week actually doing a dream class, like specifically a paradigm shift dream class, because originally we were going to do dream classes on Tuesdays, but right now, like, doing 2 broadcasts a week on Thursday and Sunday is already plenty, because it's just kind of like it can become too much for people to be able to tune in for all of that. So what we may do, and stay tuned for this, is come back on Thursday here, and it may be dream class, and that is the specific roundtable discussion where we talk about dreams and metaphysical stuff related to it, lucid dreaming, how to develop our dream practice, writing down our dreams, the experiences that we have within dreams. So yeah, stay tuned. Let me just figure out a couple things, and then we will verify that leading into the next week. But in the meantime, I invite and encourage you, as always, to be able to put intention and attention towards your dreams. So writing down your dreams, and yeah, just kind of incubating space for them on that level. So other than that, wrapping up this broadcast, thank you so much again, everyone, for being a part of this. Reminder that you can find the MP3s on the website at live.paradigmshiftcentral.com. You can subscribe on iTunes at Paradigm Shift Radio, and you can find all the recordings as well at youtube.com/Skull Babylon. Thank you again to our Patreon supporters. We're inviting you guys to be able to add your support to the Paradigm Shift Central project for the ongoing work that is involved with creating these broadcasts and sharing them, and the post-production and all the other stuff that we got going on for you guys. Sign up at patreon.com/Brendon Culleton. Add your support for a monthly micro donation of $3 to $5. You can donate more if you want, and in return get your shifter booster kit with shift buttons, hug signs, light guardian crystals, and more. And other than that, it's just reminding you guys that I'm still doing the one-on-one tarot reading and intuitive reflection sessions. You can contact me if you want to do that, if you're seeking guidance, clarity, or just some inspiration, or just even want someone to talk to. Contact me personally through Facebook or brendon.paradigmshift@gmail.com, and those are available for people within the community for a pay what you wish sliding scale contribution between $5 and $25. And thank you to everyone who's taken part in those. Great feedback, great experience, and it helps me develop my skills as well as a teacher and as a leader. So really value those, and look forward to being able to do them more with you guys and to connect with more of you on that level. So let me just double check in this moment, making sure that there's nothing that I'm forgetting. Yeah, pretty basic. So last thing I will say is inviting you guys over to the Discord chat. That's where we're going to be doing some more stuff in between this broadcast and next broadcast. Looking forward to being able to collaborate with you guys. And that's pretty much it for this one. So I feel really good about this broadcast. Really happy to be able to have had you guys here again. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to the audience. And again, the objective from here is to carry this inspiration with us out into our everyday lives. Let's take action where we are. Let's keep leveling ourselves up. Let's know that we're a part of a bigger story. Let's look for the ways in which we can share our love. Let's create conscious community. Let's create art. Let's use our real world superpowers to help change the world. Get out there, do free hugs, share a smile, share your magic, and yeah, continue to help awaken others within the dream. So awesome. I'm going to invite everyone to just kind of make some noise, and we'll just say good evening and good night and good morning. And thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this. So fellow shifters from across the world, join me in making some noise. And let me just pull up some microphones. So guys, make some noise. Thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this. So make some noise. We love you, shifters. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You guys are animals. Love it. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Anybody in the round table right now, if you guys want to stick around and hang out and chat afterwards, you guys are more than welcome. You don't have to leave right away, but we're going to wrap up the broadcast. So for everyone tuned in and listening to the recording of this, we will see you again next week. And as always, keep it shifty, and we will see you guys in the future. This is Skull Babylon signing off. Much love.